Hello, everybody. Pop culture curator here. So good to see you all. First of all, I want to explain I'm on a different mic tonight, so it's going to sound a little bit more like an echo. Coming from the room. I usually have a boom mic, which I don't have tonight. I'm using the built-in one on my laptop, so that's why I sound the way I do. I'm lucky where I'm at to even have a good enough Wi-Fi signal to host this stream. I hope the signal lasts throughout the stream. If I drop out, you know why. And if I do drop out because of losing signal, I'll try to get back on as soon as possible, I promise. I want to say hello to my fellow panelists. Hello, PvP, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, Pop. Gotta say, your signal sounds quite strong here at the moment. It sounds pretty loud and clear, so hopefully
All
it will
right.
continue at that quality because it sounds good so far. So just want to let you know.
Thank you. Right on. Sci-Fi Sit Dan, how are you doing?
Oh, still alive and kicking.
Well, that's good to hear, sir. Hope you guys are staying cool wherever you're at. I know it's a lot of people are going through a heat wave right now.
Yeah, it's only 109 where I am over here.
I got a friend in Fresno. Yeah, he's telling me all about it.
Is it really 109? Wow, that's warm.
Well, roughly. Well, how warm is it over there?
We've been in the low to mid 90s the last couple days here. So we haven't hit 100 yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do sometime in the next week.
Just hope you got a good AC, PvP.
No, I don't use air conditioning. Too expensive. So they charge an arm and a leg for the electricity, so I just don't bother with it. The weird thing is, I just keep my windows closed in the apartment here, and I actually find it's cooler. The air in here is actually cooler than it is if I open the windows because the air outside is much hotter.
Well,
Like
yeah,
I
if
went
it's
out.
90 degrees.
Yeah, I went out today and got milk, and it was boiling out there. So I was really so glad to get back inside because it's much cooler actually in the building. I know that sounds weird, but I think they do circulate the air in the building though, so I think they have some kind of cooling system, in the hallways, and it kind of translates into the suites. I'm guessing, so it's not too bad here. I mean, I'm not exactly wearing too much at the moment, trying to stay cool, but
Wow.
you just got to keep that skin exposed. Get that sweat going. Just to cool you down.
Yeah, I can get you some fans. Well, you can't get you like
I
a little
should buy a
window
fan.
AC.
I should buy a fan actually. Yeah, good idea.
What about
So,
like a little window AC?
so you're in the good old state Arizona, right, Pop?
Yes, sir.
Now, here's my question: Is Arizona usually a lot hotter than California, or are they about even?
It balances out. It depends on what part of Arizona. I'm in the northern area, so right now here it's like in the 80s. It doesn't get nearly as hot here as it does down in like Phoenix and Tucson. But I know down there right now they're going through extreme heat waves, just like California is. So I'm lucky I'm
Well,
able to avoid that.
yeah. You're in summer with these blasted heat waves.
Yeah, but the good news is too is even if it's hot outside, like right now, I'll check and see that now everybody this is Fahrenheit. Um, Outside right now, it is currently at 90 degrees, and that's not bad. I'm not going to complain. But I'm staying indoors anyway, and right now I have the thermostat set on about 75, and it's very comfortable.
Yeah, that's how I usually do it in the house. I like it roughly 75 degrees, not too cold nor too hot. 75 seems like a good temperature.
Yeah, anything lower and it tends to get too chilly in the house. Anything high and anything higher, I don't know. I don't like to sit around in my underwear and sweat. I'm going to pay a little extra.
So, Pop, did you buy yourself some fireworks for the 4th of July and set them off?
No, I didn't hear in the hospital.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Pop.
Oh, it's all right. This is a nice, refreshing. It's almost like being on vacation. And considering I was not around the fireworks, I was actually able to get some sleep. So I have no regrets. And I don't miss anything either because for many years I used to set off the big ones. So I've been there and done that. So anything other, if I'm just about, I won't even go buy those high marked up rip off ones at the fireworks stand. Those things are price gouging up the wazoo. And I
Yeah,
want to say,
yeah, it
yes,
sort of
sir.
saddens me that you're, and we only have access to the basically the light stuff. Meanwhile, in California, meanwhile, you guys in the other state regions, you guys are allowed to have the big stuff if it's not illegal over there.
Not in California, but they do like in Nevada, which is right next to it. Certain parts, that is. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. And I hope you all had a wonderful celebration, be it 4th of July or what's the Canada version? Is it Canada Day or what is it, PvP?
Yeah, we have Canada Day on July the 1st every year. Uh,
All right.
so yeah, it's pretty much, I guess, like the 4th of July. We just celebrate, the nation and all that kind of stuff. And, people wave flags and play music. And we used to have fire. This is a weird thing, though. This year, I actually heard from somebody else in Canada on the community here, and they didn't get any fireworks either this year. And I didn't hear any Monday night. Like I usually would hear the fireworks starting, late around maybe 11 or 12 midnight kind of thing, right? And they usually go for like maybe half an hour, because the city has like a community fireworks display, a few miles away from here, a little bit out of town where it's not too busy. And they used to have fireworks displays every July 1st, but now we got nothing like this year. I didn't hear a single firework, which is very, very strange. So yeah, it was kind of weird actually this year.
Hello, Stone Rocket. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, Storm Rocket.
Hello.
Hey,
How's
Stone
ev-
Rocket. Hey,
how's
Stone
it?
Rocket.
How's
All right.
everyone doing?
So you're alive.
We're doing great, and it's good to hear your voice again.
Why, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, we're warm.
I heard PvP talking about a lack of fireworks, but PvP, you're in Canada.
Yeah, we used to have fireworks. This was the first year I remember. Every year we had fireworks up until this past Monday. We do have fireworks in Canada, believe it or not.
So you guys celebrate July 4th as well, huh?
No, we celebrate July 1st because that's our national holiday.
Oh, cool.
Well, they kind of
Yeah.
overlap a little bit too, don't they?
Well,
Before
July 1st, Canada Day, July 4th, 4th of July. I mean, they're pretty much the same thing in each country. And, we've always had fireworks here before, but for some reason, the city didn't seem to have any this year, which I've heard from other people too, that didn't happen in their communities. So it seems kind of odd. I don't know what the heck happened there, but
Well, you said it's been hot, so maybe it's because of the heat. That's when they
maybe,
tend to roll
yeah.
them back.
Could be, but it's usually hot here in July, so I'm not really sure if that would be the cause. Maybe
Oh,
they changed
no.
some bylaw because it's all these bylaw regulations they love to, just throw on top of everybody, right? And I don't know what the city's doing, but
Well, if my little town can have fireworks, everyone in Canada should have fireworks as well.
yeah, well, I don't get why we didn't because the city here is around 170,000. We're definitely not a small town. We're
Yeah.
pretty significant size. We're probably the largest city in the interior of BC, actually. So we've always had fireworks, every year I can remember since I was, a kid. So I don't know what happened. I could actually probably look it up and see if there's an explanation. I'm sure
What's
maybe the news media covered it or something, but
What's nice is I don't even have to leave my condo to see the fireworks. All I have to do is look out
Oh,
living room window and enjoy the show.
That's good. Because
Very nice.
the ones we had for the last number of years have been miles, a few miles away from me, so I didn't actually see them. I would just listen to them was the basic thing. But I'm at the age where I don't care too much about fireworks anyway. It's like it's like a parade, if you've had the experience like, 30 or 40
Yeah.
times, you don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah, those
I
are
guess I'm
mainly
getting
for
old.
kids. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
mainly for kids.
exactly. Yeah.
Stoneback, how did your cats handle the noise?
They're kind of used to them now, and
Good.
they'll look at me, and I'll just tell them. They just listen to the tone of my voice, and I just calm them down. Uh, but yeah, the first few years they were kind of like, "What the heck's going on?" I would
Right.
just talk to them calmly, and uh, and they just, I would just I would tell them. I would basically, with my cats, I talk to them as if they can understand every word I say. But it's just the tone of voice is what they
Yeah.
key in on, and I just let them know that everything's okay. And the same way with thunderstorms. I just this is going to sound silly, but I do talk to my cats as though they are my children. I just go, "Oh, it's okay. It's just thunder boom booms."
Uh-huh. Well, you got the right voice for it, so that's enough to soothe them down.
Yeah, they're my kitty cats are they trust me a whole lot, and they listen to me, which
Very
is good.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Yeah.
that some people like, with their dogs and cats, sometimes it's very traumatic for them, and they never get used to it, which is would be very
True.
upsetting. Yeah.
That is very true. And I wanted to continue what I was saying hello to the chat also. I hope you guys are all doing well. So good to see you all.
I was just going to
Looks
say,
like
Pop, did you want me to read some of the chat? I'd be happy to do that for you if you'd like.
you'd like, well, why don't you read this one?
That's me. Hi, Pop.
Hey, that
Uh,
is you, and there you are
Really,
again.
really hot here. How is it there?
not bad, but I'm indoors.
Okay. Oh, and Edge of Time says, greetings from the Edge of Time. Hi, Edge.
The mysterious edge of time.
It's
And
good to
I
see you,
say,
Ed. I'm glad you could be here.
I try to stay indoors too.
Good.
And so you're
That's
saying
a nice
good.
Darwin.
And I say, still had to get some milk and felt like I was going to melt. I
Like
felt
an
I
ice
had
cream.
scenes of the Wicked Witch of the West going, I'm melting, I'm melting. You know that
that
scene, right?
that scene always got a laugh out of my dad. When the Wicked Witch, she says, "How could a little girl like you destroy my beautiful wickedness?" That always got a chuckle out of my dad when we were watching The Wizard of
It
Oz.
is a classic line, that's for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you ever want to scare the Wicked Witch, just offer her a nice cold glass of water. That's really get that away from me.
I just
Anyway,
saw I just saw a thing on the news the other day that I guess one of the original pairs of ruby slippers was just recovered. It had been stolen several years ago out of a museum.
oh wow.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. So they've got them recovered. That's good.
yeah, they're a little tattered and everything, but worth a lot of money, I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't one pair sell for like a lot of money, like about 5 years back or something? I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they've been bouncing
yeah.
around pretty heavy.
And
Wow.
of course, since I'm here, PvP, I got a trivia question for you.
Oh God.
In the
There we
in the
go.
book, The Wizard of Oz, what was the color of the slippers.
Well, I haven't read the book, so I'm kind of screwed, I guess. But I know they were the ruby slippers in the movie.
Yeah,
Ruby.
it was changed to ruby slippers to show off the Technicolor.
Yeah.
But in the book, it's silver slippers.
Silver.
Yeah,
Ooh.
silver.
Well, you think that would have showed up pretty good too in Technicolor, but oh well.
It would, but it just looked like gray or silver.
Yeah, it wouldn't be such, it wouldn't stand out like those ruby slippers. I mean, they're just it's just sequins, but the way they photograph them, it looks
Yes.
gorgeous.
Well, I suppose silver and ruby, they both connotate value of some kind, so I could see
Yes.
them changing it to ruby slippers. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, plus they went well with her ruby lipstick when you think about it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Judy Garland was amazing in that film. Gosh, she was great.
Yeah, I'm so glad she. She was She was awarded a special Oscar for that performance, and I'm glad they did that because that's one of the all-time great performances in my book.
Well, yeah, to
Did
go
they
down
give
in
her?
history, generations are going to be loving that movie still, even after we're gone.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Did they give her the award because she was a minor? I'm thinking.
Well, it was for a best performance by a juvenile. She was when they started filming, she was 16, and she turned 17 during the production of the movie.
Okay, so that would kind of make sense then.
Yeah.
Special award.
But
Yeah.
she's it's such an incredible performance. I'm every time I watch that movie, I'm so amazed at how good she is in it.
Yeah, that age, like.
Oh
every
yeah,
time-
at that age, because I know Mickey Rooney, he just said one word, kind of sum up Judy Garland, and that's sincerity. And even though the special effects are of its time and the painted backdrops are of its time, it's because Dorothy Gale believes what she's going through. We believe it as well because of
Well, it's a dream
Judy Garland's
too.
performance. What was that, Pop?
It's also a dream sequence. So it's great that it looks a little off and it's not quite realistic.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Of course,
basically,
yeah. Of course, in the book, it is not a dream. It's just in the movie, they
Yeah.
treat it as a dream to handle the, it's like, well, we got witches and all this scary stuff. Let's just make it all a dream.
yeah, talking trees and yeah. So yeah, but it makes actually even possibly more sense as a dream because I love the whole ending where she's like, you can't go home again, and then she does go home again because she wakes up from her dream, which I think is pretty awesome.
No PvP. There's no place like home.
Yeah, well, close enough. But I just think
Yeah.
when Over the Rainbow has got to be one of the great vocal performances of all time. Does it not, guys? Like, I
Yeah.
can't
And
think of any better vocal performance than Judy gives on that song. Like
yeah,
seriously,
it's
perfection.
great, and it's amazing that some of the producers at like Louis B. Mayer and maybe if another one or two were actually considering cutting that song out.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basically, well, we're MGM. We don't our stars don't sing in a barnyard. It's like, what are you talking
Uh-huh.
about? It's her character, you ding-a-ling.
This is why
Exactly.
you never give the suits the power of the artists. Let the artists do their thing because they're artists and they know what they're
Yeah,
doing. You suits, you just sit in the background,
yeah.
smoke your cigars, pay the bills, and let the creative people that are actually know what the heck's going on. Let them just do what they do, and
It
that's
And
was also,
unfortunately what they did.
here, go ahead, Pop.
I was just going to say, it was also a great achievement when you think about all the turmoil she went through making it.
Well, she Judy had a horrible mother.
Mother
Um,
Louis B. Mayer
a-
kept driving
and
her
then
boobs up all night.
Louis B. Mayer called PvP. Get this, Louis B. Mayer of MGM called Judy Garland his little gargoyle. How's that? You know, it's
pretty
like
pretty
it's
messed up.
messed up, and of course she was self-conscious about her looks, but she's lovely.
I always
And
thought Judy was beautiful,
oh
even
yeah, she's
her
just
entire
fine,
life. You know.
and oh yeah, I agree. She's lovely, and her mother, she had one of those awful stage mothers, and
Uh,
of
mm,
course Judy and her sisters, you know, it was
The Gum Sisters.
the gum sisters, you know, if they were feeling a little bit, you know, they're performing, singing, and they're like, well, mom, we're kind of tired, you know, the mom would give them uppers to
okay.
stimulate
Yes,
them. And it's like,
yes.
and then of course they complain. Of course, when Judy was signed at MGM, they were like, "Well, you got to lose weight. You're fat. You're so fat. You got to lose weight." So here she is.
No,
She's taking uppers. She's already hooked on those. And then of course with diet pills, it's the same darn thing. It's no wonder she was screwed up. And then of course she started drinking, and booze and pills, they don't mix.
have
Yeah,
you
Judy
guys
had
ever?
tragic life.
I know.
Have any of you guys ever seen the movie Whatever Happened to Baby Jane?
Yeah.
Yeah, years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you watch that movie, when they show the exterior house of Baby Jane, the house right to the left of it, that's where Judy Garland was staying while filming Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really?
Oh, I never knew that.
Yep.
Wow.
Interesting.
Cool.
So
Thank
that's out in California.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
you. Hmm.
Yeah, it's been a while
And
since I've seen the film. I can't really picture the house. I can all I can I can sure picture the rat, but
yeah, there's when I did my video tour of famous filming locations, and that house was one of them. And it's one
oh,
of the few houses also where Google Maps has it blurred out. So even if you look at the address on Google Maps, all you'll see is a blur when it gets to that house.
oh,
Huh.
really?
So
Wow.
I don't
tell
know
me,
how they were able to pull that off.
Really? Weird.
so tell me, do you guys know which cast member of the original movie lived the longest, roughly?
It was one of the Munchkins.
Yeah, I think one of the Munchkins just passed away not too many months ago.
Yeah,
Did
so
they not?
one of the female Munchkins lived the longest, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think they just died like 3 or 4 months back or something. Quite recent, actually.
And were some of those Munchkins actual kids too?
I
Yeah.
think they were all pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Some of them were children, especially the ones that are like waking up in the bird's nest. That sequence, you know,
Yeah.
it's like some of them were actual children, but most of them
Backgrounds.
were little. Yeah, exactly, Pop.
Yeah, if they were like
Most
extras.
of
Yeah.
them were little people, legitimate little people.
Yeah, the ones that did the singing and dancing, I believe, were all little folks. Yeah.
Yeah, the the Lullaby League and the Lollipop Guild are
Lollipop Guild.
those two groups that scared me.
I thought it was so funny. I just laughed. I saw it, I guess, in the '60s on TV as a kid, and I was just old enough, I guess, to not be scared. And I just kind of was very. I kind of just laughed at
Well,
all that stuff. You know.
I didn't mean that literally. I just meant that yeah, as far as I was concerned, it was huge cringe factor for me as a
Huh.
Oh,
child.
okay.
And when the Lullaby League came by, my sister, my older sister, would kind of roll her eyes a little bit. But yeah, none of my siblings. I don't remember ever being scared by anything in that film, and a lot of my coworkers, when I was still working at the main hospital, there was a lot of coworkers that were freaked out as children by the flying monkeys.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah, I've
think
heard of that.
that was the
Yeah,
weirdest part for me as a kid was the flying monkeys because
yeah,
they were pretty freaky. You got to admit. I mean,
but
they were pretty freaky.
it was interesting watching the Wizard of Oz when we had a black and white TV, and our father would basically it'd be a running commentary
Oh,
because
gosh.
like when the horse of a different color, my
Uh-huh.
dad would tell all of us. It goes, okay, now it's this color, now it's purple, and then as soon as the flying monkeys were there with the witch, he said, some of the actors that played the Munchkins are portraying the flying monkeys. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. So it's like, it didn't freak any of us out because our dad was giving us a behind the scenes commentary.
Very
So
cool.
Dad was
That's
doing a DVD commentary before DVD.
Yeah, really. Yep, you got it.
It's
Well,
too
that's
that's
bad.
very
cool.
cool.
It's too bad that he did not go into the business of DVD commentary or video commentary. He probably can make a lot of money off it.
Well, I've talked about my dad before. He was in broadcasting and both radio and television early on. And he definitely had a broadcaster's voice. And he was also in high school and in college. He was in drama. So he was in a lot of stage productions. And so when my dad would read to all of us, he not only just read really well, he played all the parts because of his acting background. So it was very, very entertaining to hear my dad read to all of us as children growing up.
Very nice. Okay.
Should I do
You
some
need
more
caught up on
chats
the
there,
chat.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Some of them are like 30 minutes old.
Okay, I could read
Gorillas,
these if you like. Save your voice there, Bob, if you want.
I'll try to hold out for now. Thank you.
Okay, okay,
Or I'll select randomly.
okay.
Gorilla's random thoughts. Hello, Gorilla. Kapla, I'm still out of town at my sister's, waiting out the severe thunderstorm. That's just to the west of us. Well, good luck,
Uh-oh.
Gorilla. I hope you don't get stuck there.
Yeah.
And Sci-Fi sit down. Hello, pop culture. Thank you, Sci-Fi. Back at you. And hello on the panel, says Sci-Fi. Edge of time is, I think, waving, perhaps. And Gorilla's random thought says it was a brief funnel cloud just to the west of us, but it sucked back up into the clouds before it hit ground. Well, that's good news to hear.
It's a
DJ Play
twister.
Nice.
It's a twister.
It is. Run away, run away.
Yeah.
DJ Play Nice says, we. And
Whee!
DJ Play Nice says, PCC, thanks for hosting. It is my pleasure. I'm glad I was able to. A lot of circumstances had to come into place in order for me to do this stream tonight.
Speaking of broadcaster voice, DJ definitely has a broadcaster's voice.
Yeah, I heard him on the stream the other night. He's a
Yeah.
nice guy.
Mr.
And
Cool.
DJ says,
Didn't DJ say he used to actually be a DJ years ago and, spin records for people?
Yeah, that would be, he would be perfect for that.
Because I
Yeah.
heard him on a live panel. He
Makes
came on
sense.
some panel recently, and
Uh-huh.
amazing. He came on the panel for a little while, and it's like, yeah, he said he used to actually be a disc jockey at one time. So I thought that was
very
pretty
cool. Yeah,
Very,
it
very
is.
cool. Hmm.
DJ says, a wrench to Gorilla's random thoughts. Gorilla says, 60 to 60 to 70 mile per hour winds really cool down the house. Well, I'm sure they do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when it blows away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gorilla says, hey, DJ. And DJ says, and congrats on the 60.
Yeah, I like even numbers. I'm glad I'm here for number 60.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is cool. So am I. Nemesis of Eden says, hey, you beautiful beings. Hope you're all doing well. Likewise, Nemesis, good to see you, buddy. And you're welcome up here if you get time.
I don't think
on Saturday nights.
I don't think any of us here on the panel are as beautiful as Nemesis of Eden.
Oh, heck no.
Or
Always
I
great
should
to see
say
you, Pop.
as handsome.
Hope your
Yeah,
day
he
has
does
been doing awesome.
He has a handsome avatar for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Always great to see you, Pop. Hope your day has been awesome. Yes, it has. I've been getting rest. Thank you. DJ says the nemesis of Eden to it, and I believe that's a wrench.
Mm-hmm.
Edge of Time says hail stone racket.
Hail, Edge of Time.
Ola Greg says hello everyone. And
And
nemesis
hail,
of Eden says
Order
hail
Greg.
DJ. Yeah, good to see you, Ola Greg. Ola Greg says I pop fireworks in my street. That's you know what the best part of doing that is watching the joy on the kids' face. It's the kids that really like
Yeah,
it the most. The younger they are, the more excited they get, which is really
yeah,
cool. Hello,
most
Keith
definitely.
E. Welcome, Keith E. Just stopping by to hit the like button and say hello. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. If you haven't done so, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. I remind you, everybody, hit the like button if you like it and spread the word. Nems of Eden says, hey, OG. And Nems of Eden says, thanks for stopping in and doing that. You rock, Keith E. And Pleasant Valley Picker says, hi, guys. Nems of Eden says, hey, PVV, good to see you. Hey, later time, hope you're well, says Nemesis. All right, PvP, can you read this?
They were a trope at Stone Racket.
What was
Oh, not trope. Taupe.
taupe?
Not sure what taupe is.
Not,
But
not sure what that means.
It might
They
be
were
a
taupe.
typo.
They were taupe, Stone Racket. Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying there, Nemesis.
Would you like to read this, Stone Racket?
Oiler Greg says cheers, and he's got 3 mugs of beer. And Oiler Greg, as we all know,
Yay.
loves giant spiders.
Yes, he does. And Sci-Fi Sit Down, would you like to read this?
Nemesis Ian says, "Damn, silver! Laugh out loud."
That's
Yep.
right, Super. And PvP?
Spoiler, Ozma isn't a something boy. I'm not sure what that is.
Has little sparklies on each side of the word boy.
Sparkly boy?
Ozma isn't
Who's
a boy.
Ozma?
I don't
Who's
know.
Yeah, I never quite get those little those sparkly
Well, if
Yeah.
you're on,
word thingies.
yeah, if you're on StreamYard, you can't really, it doesn't decipher emojis.
Yeah, StreamYard really screws up some of those emojis.
Yeah. Keith E says, somebody on one of the chats I was on said the end of the movie is in black and white. I never realized that is true.
Yeah,
It
the
does.
opening
It
of
goes.
Wizard of Oz and the
Yeah,
end.
the ending is in sepia. It goes back to black
Well,
and
it's
white.
supposed to be sepia, yeah. But yeah, it goes back
Yeah.
because in Kansas it's Dullsville. It's
Yeah.
like oh, in Kansas, what's the most colorful thing Dorothy would see? Well, it'd be the rainbow. And I'm like, well, okay. What about her dress? What about clothes? What about a nice, beautiful blue sky?
Wasn't it supposed to take place during the Depression years, though? I'm guessing.
Well, I mean,
Or maybe that was why it was sepia colored.
the book is not set in the Depression because that hadn't happened yet. But in the movie, we can assume that it's definitely Depression era.
Yeah, because the movie's what 1939, Stone Racket.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah, we were out of the Depression by then. Coming out of it, I should say.
Yeah, but still
And,
feeling the effects. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it wasn't until we got into the war that things really
Those good old wars, eh?
good old war. It's like, hey, let's get the economy going by
That's right. By
blowing stuff up
blowing
over
stuff up. Yeah.
Oh, come on
Yeah.
now. Our current president in the U.S. said the other day on TV that he's brought world peace.
Oh, I sure. No soldiers have died on his watch. Remember?
Right, and no one's gonna question him on it.
Well, I would like to meet the president that actually can claim that he's never had a soldier lost. Like, I can't think of back when I look at history that would be absolutely factual. So
No, but they don't have any control down to that level anyway.
exactly.
Sit down. Would you like to read
Louis
this
B.
for?
Mayer.
Lewis would be the mayor of where?
I think you
Louis
got
B.
Louis
Mayer
B.
would be the-
Mayer.
He
Yeah,
was
he's
the mayor
it,
of
it's a
MGM Studios.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a pun. And
Yeah.
Nemesis is making a pun. Louis, first name Louis, middle initial is B,
Oh,
last
wow.
name is Mayer, and it's of course MGM stands for Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Metro was a film company. It joined with Samuel Goldwyn Studios and Louis B. Mayer Studios, and so that's why it's called MGM, because they all combine forces into one studio system,
And
one
that was
studio
back,
company.
right, and that was back when the three honchos greenlit movies. Everything had to go through them,
Yeah,
and they kept
especially
stars under
especially
contract.
Louis B. Mayer. He was I guess the more artsy people kind of went through Goldwyn, but Mayer was basically, Andy Hardy and all the family,
Uh-huh.
wholesome entertainment and that kind of thing was more of the Mayer's game, I guess.
Yes.
But mhm.
PvP, can you read this?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
And Stonewrecker, how
cool.
about this one?
cool. With the old cool emoji with the shades, yes indeed.
And Daniel,
Radio and club is what he used to do, from what DJ Play Nice said.
Cool. Yeah.
that sounds like a fun job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
And
sound
I'll
like
answer
fun.
this. Nemesis of Eden says, "Oh, you gentlemen flatter me. Well, you deserve it, sir."
Well, I gotta say that the DJ Play Nice must have seen a lot of girls in the radio and club business.
A lot of babes. Is that what you're saying? Sci-fi sit then?
Yes.
I always thought that if you were
Yeah.
in the radio, I thought if you were in the radio business, you're stuck in a booth and you don't see anybody. Unless
Well,
you go
that's
out live
that's
traveling.
true sometimes, but doing the club scene, you get to see a whole bunch of people.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure the
And,
club scene would have been very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
and people tend to be drawn towards DJ voices that they recognize.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm guessing if you were a really good DJ, you'd get a following after a while, right? That would kind of come to any club you were spinning your vinyl at, and just kind of follow and kind of enjoy you, right?
When I was a
Yep.
little kid, I always thought it'd be a fun job. But then, of course, I quickly realized I don't have the voice for it.
Yeah, when I was in as an undergraduate college, I took radio and television courses, and our final project in radio, we basically did a half-hour radio program.
Oh,
Yeah, and each of us came up with something a little different. I, being kind of square, I did a whole program based around the Moody Blues,
well, I like them.
and I played their music all through the program, and then I had one of my classmates pretend to be Justin Hayward, and I did a one-on-one interview for part of the show with Justin Hayward.
That's cool.
Yeah, it
So,
was fun. I used I used the cart system, which is kind of a fancy 8-track kind of thing that you mostly would have advertisements on and short
uh-huh.
audio clips. And then we had the turntable, and for guess what I used for my program's theme. It's the entry into the show. The theme I used was from Goldfinger. I used
Ooh,
entering the tune John Barry's Entering Miami.
oh, very nice.
Yeah, I just love that. It opens the actual movie with the aerial shot of Welcome to Miami, and then the Fontainebleau Hotel. There's an aerial shot. And it's just a great jazzy score. Of course,
Yeah.
John Barry is one of my favorite film composers. But I use that as my show, the theme for my show to open it.
Very cool. And would you like to read this here, Stone Racket?
Oh, okay. Keith E says, I like the Moody Blues record. I like the Moody Blues record, Face the Music, that you could actually play the music backwards. Oh,
And I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm kind of my older brother. He loves the Moody Blues. Uh, you know, from the very start to the whatever their last album was. I'm more of a purist. I used to stick with their first 7 albums because I don't think
Uh-huh.
the Moody Blues ever topped those first 7 albums when they came out with Octave after a number
About
of years.
about
I
when did
was
the last? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. The Seventh Sojourn was from '72, and I think Octave came out in '78. Somewhere around 78. So there was a 6-year gap between albums,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't think any of their new stuff was as impressive. Some of it, I mean, some of it's really good. I mean, I like their album, the Relayer album. I kind of like that one, but I got to see them in concert. Let's see, 3 different times.
Nice.
And the last time I got to see them, it was just there's a sports arena within walking distance from where I worked, and at that time I was working second shift, and so I got the night off, and couldn't get a date to accompany me to the concert, so I was stuck going by myself. But
That sucks.
what was really cool was they would go around and they would use local orchestras to oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the conductor for the London Symphony Orchestra or whatever orchestra they use for Days of Future Past. Their first
Okay.
album,
Yeah.
with Justin Hayward and John Lodge being part of the group. It's Peter something, I think, but he would conduct local orchestras as they toured, and so they would on this particular tour, the Moody Blues were utilizing full orchestras when they would do selections from their very first album. And so the sequences, if you're familiar with that album, the classical sequences, they were interspersed with the rock tracks, and they would do the same thing live in concert. They would play some of the tracks from the same songs from the first album, and there would be a full orchestra there. And what was
Wow.
great, unlike other concerts where I would have to stick cotton in my ears, I went
Uh-huh.
to the Moody Blues. You weren't blown away that the audio was just perfect, and I saw little kids there and grandparents. That was the age range for going to see the Moody Blues, which I thought was
Nice.
amazing.
It is. Who would like to read this?
It says Keith E. I think he's talking about the Face the Music song. Is that right? Or Moody Blues. The song starts out with gibberish, but if you play it backwards, it talks to you and says, "Turn the music the other way. Don't play it backwards."
Yeah, that I need to try to. I'll find that song and see if I can listen to it. It's probably on
Yeah,
YouTube or something.
interesting. Oh, hey, Matt G's here. He's serving up something I don't like, coffee.
Looks like coffee. Hello, Taylor Swift
Yeah.
and Matt G. Good to see you there. Glad you could be here with us. And he says hello.
Yeah,
No,
Matt
that's
said
nice.
usually Matt and I have our Saturday chats, but he's got family in town, and
Oh,
so I'm here for the long haul for the rumblings in the lab. But Matt told me we'd had our chat last night, and Matt told me that he would stop in the chat to say hi during the
well, thank
rumblings.
you, Matt. I'm glad you could come by and spend some time with us. That's very cool. Gorilla's
Yes,
Random
indeed.
Thoughts says, heading home now. All right, Gorilla, will you drive safe? Don't hurry and
Yeah,
push yourself.
definitely stay safe, Gorilla.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Thank you.
no storm chasing, please.
I just want to mention to Grill though, if he does get sucked up by a tornado, please get it on camera and put a short up so we can all enjoy it.
Yes.
Well,
And
I'm sure Gorilla would do that too. I wouldn't be
it'll be
surprised.
just like Dorothy up in the tornado.
That's right.
She'll see farm animals and guys in
That's right.
rowboats
Yeah.
and Miss Gulch on the bicycle turning into the Wicked Witch.
There you go. There you go. That's what we want to see, Gorilla. Come on, you've been served notice there.
Oh dear.
And I always wonder. Tell me, did she start that twister, or did she just fly around it and through it? The witch.
No, that's an actual in the context of the story, that's an actual tornado that hit the farm, but and of course it kicks off the dream, and the window knocks out Dorothy, but the twister did not destroy the farm or lift the house up. That's all in the dream.
The twister is basically a force of nature. It's a natural event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not supernatural at all, Dan.
Well, sci-fi was suggesting that maybe there was a in the context of Wizard of Oz that there may have been a supernatural element to that, but remember, everything that is introduced in the opening in the little Kansas sequence sets up what we see in Oz, because what does Dorothy call Miss Gulch
A witch.
when she, oh, you wicked old witch, I'll bite you
Yeah.
myself, that kind of, and
Yeah.
so that sets everything up. At Professor Marvel, the fake fortune teller
Good night,
guy.
Keith.
Yeah, good night, Keith. Keith E says, well, good night. I have
Right.
been subscribed to your channel for quite a while, but just don't get on here enough. Be well, take care. Great to listen to you guys. Thanks for stopping by, Keith.
Likewise.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think what Stone Rocket's saying is all the stuff that sets up. It's all like in Dorothy's mind. I think a lot of she calls her a witch, and it's
Right.
a lot in Dorothy's subconscious. So of course, when she gets knocked out by the storm, that stuff in the subconscious is going to become to the forefront and when
Right.
she's in her dream state of entering Oz, right?
Yeah.
So I
And
think
so,
it's fabulous that way.
yeah. So sci-fi Sith Dan, what does Dorothy experience in the Kansas sequence with Hickory that parallels in Oz? Remember what Hickory says? Someday they'll erect a statue of me, and he puts himself in a pose. That's pretty much how he is as the Tin Man, and the
Yes.
frozen in a similar position, or at least it makes you think of that. Where
When
he's
they first find him. Yeah.
Well, that's another part, right? Is all the farm hands that Dorothy, they're kind of beloved friends of Dorothy in the real life.
and
And
then
so when she enters her dream life, of course, all her friends are going to
and of
play
course
a very
and then
big part, right?
and then Huck, he or is it Hulk? Huck.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's Huck, I think. And
Yeah,
he
that
says,
sounds about right.
You're just not using your brains. Don't go by Miss Gulch's place. And and it's like, well, he's the scarecrow. He wants some brains. And then of course, Zeke gets just as scared or upset when he gets Dorothy out of the pigsty there.
Yes.
And so he's of course the Cowardly Lion, and but I love that film. It's one of my favorites.
So basically, the witch is just in the twister for a ride. She's not
That
causing the twister. In other words,
No, she's not. It's of course when that's one of my favorite sequences is when she transforms into the witch during that sequence. It's really cool. And kind of disturbing if you're a real young child, but that's where she goes, "Oh, Miss Gulch," and then she transforms into the witch that we're going to see,
Yep.
when she lands in Oz. And so,
But that's still part of Dorothy's imagination,
yeah,
right?
oh
When she
yeah,
transforms.
that everything is once she, oh, we're up in she says the cyclone, which is that drove my earth science teacher nuts when I was in ninth grade. He goes, "It's not a cyclone. A cyclone is and he started talking about like a high pressure,
Right.
thing." And I'm like, it's like, Mr. Troger was his name, the earth science teacher. And it's kind of like, "Mr. Troger, calm down. Remember, we have our
Right.
football team here, Iowa State Cyclones. So it's like, we got to put up with it."
Well, the thing is, Dorothy's not exactly a weather person anyway. Like,
Well, it's
you know.
it's a Midwest slang term for a tornado.
Yeah, and she's a
You know?
youngster, so I
Oh
mean, I
yeah,
can see her saying that, right?
yeah, and it's back. It's back. Of course, when the book was written, was just at the turn of the century. The early 1900s, and then the movie set. It's in the 30s, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't have a problem with it.
I just love the entire film. I mean, I really have no major nitpickings about Wizard of Oz. I just really enjoy it from beginning to end. I think it's one of those rare films that's just really, really great. Like, it's just so well done, the whole damn
It's
movie.
it's my favorite musical of all time.
It's a
Nemesis
great
even
film. It
says,
really is.
Nemesis says, "Have a great night, Keith." And oh, Suzanne, welcome. I hope you're doing well. She says, "Hello, Pop." Nemesis says, "Hello, Keith." And PPP says, "Hey, Suzanne." And she says, "Hey, PPP, hello."
Why is it
All
in
right,
all
good.
caps?
In case we can't hear it, I guess.
Yeah, I get no. She really wants PvP to know that she's saying hello to him.
Well, what do you guys think
Yeah,
about this?
well,
What do you guys think about Wicked? And you guys see it? You got to go see the movie or what?
Forget it. I don't go by. I don't. I'm not interested in any. I guess it's like all these other recent movies where it's like,
Yes.
well, it's there. It's we know from the previous stories. This is the bad person, but are they really that bad? Let's
Uh-huh.
learn about their background. I don't give a rat's patootie about any of the villain's backstory. Who cares?
It's
yeah,
gonna be like
know.
that crappy
yeah,
Hamilton.
and then
Oh, what was that now?
It's gonna be all it is, and they're doing it because of that crappy Hamilton.
Oh, the musical Hamilton. I thought you were
Yeah.
saying something about Margaret Hamilton. I'm like, oh
Oh
yeah, the
no.
musical Hamilton. Excuse me.
Yeah, they're just doing
Well,
it because of Hamilton.
well, I
Yeah.
will tell you this that I've seen the trailer. I mean, the Wicked Witch is supposed to be somewhat ugly, but the makeup on the Wicked Witch, it's terrible.
Yes, it is.
Oh, here's more trivia for PvP. PvP, who was originally cast as the Wicked Witch for the Wizard of Oz film?
ooh, Buddy Epson.
Ha! No, that's for the Tin Man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just making a
And
joke.
you know what?
I have no idea.
You know what? The movie would have been even better if Buddy Epson was at the Tin Man, and they didn't have that makeup mishap that caused
Yeah,
him.
but he almost
But
died, didn't he, from the makeup? Like, he
yep,
got very
because
sick.
it was aluminum dust,
Yeah,
and I'm like, am like, well, are you guys nuts? But
Well,
anyway,
that was
the
that was the
original
30s, though,
the
right?
actress that they originally cast for the Wicked Witch was Gail Sondergaard.
Hmm.
They were going for a different kind of witch,
Okay.
you know, and then they started you know, kind of uglifying her, and it just wasn't working.
What else was she in? I don't remember her name.
That's a good question. I mean, she's as
Was she too
as
gorgeous to be
as
wicked?
an actress, the evil queen in Snow White, the animated film, is based on Gail Sondergaard.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think that's what the producers were, the filmmakers were going for
Hmm.
with the Wicked Witch, was kind of
But
a
animated is not the same as real life, so that could
yeah.
be a problem, right? So.
But yeah, if you look at the evil queen from Snow White from 1937, and you look at pictures of Gail Sondergaard, you go, oh yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But I
I
can't
heard
think of a
that.
film. I can't think of a film right off the bat that that I've seen that has Gail Sondergaard in it. But
Yeah,
it's
I don't place the name. I mean, maybe
uh-huh.
she was a big star back in the 30s,
Yeah,
but
it's in the 30s, and
I can't
mhm.
remember her name at all. Like I'm drawing a blank here, Stone Racket.
Well, it's just from my father's library of
Okay.
Time Life books and movies
Huh.
and that kind of thing. I'm just familiar with a lot of different
Actresses.
celebrities from
Yeah.
the early days of cinema, is because of looking through these big coffee table sized books that my dad
Right. I
got
gotta
from
say,
Time Life
I gotta
library.
say that Margaret Hamilton seems very well cast as the Wicked Witch, though, because she's got the facial structure. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying she's an ugly woman. I thought, in real life, she's probably quite,
Well,
attractive.
you've heard
But
you've
but I could see how they could ugly her up, so to speak, to be the Wicked Witch in the film, if
well
that makes any sense.
the story with Margaret Hamilton when she was called by her agent, that they're wanting, she was told by her agent, hey, they're wanting you to be cast in the Wizard of Oz production. She's like, oh, I love that book. It's one of my favorite books. What part are they thinking of? And her agent goes, well, the Wicked Witch. What else?
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, I was like,
Ooh,
uh-oh.
yes. Fire that agent, I say. Fire
Yeah,
that
I mean
agent right now.
that's according to Margaret Hamilton. It's like, well, the Wicked Witch, and then what else?
I didn't think she's that bad looking, like in real life. Like,
No, but she
jeez.
had the right face structure for it.
Yeah,
Who would
Oh
like
she
to
yeah,
read
did.
this?
perfect. Yeah, she
Perfect
really
face
did.
structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Pop.
Who
But
would
still,
like to
there's
read this?
actresses in movies that
Nemesis of Eden says, "Hail, Suzanne. Hope you are well." And
Thank you.
we all hope that Suzanne is doing well.
Yeah, hope it's good there, Suzanne. Oh, what's this? Oh.
Do
you want me to read this one,
PvP.
maybe?
Yes, PvP.
PvP, just make sure it's my most watched video. Oh, you're talking about flying away in the tornado. I will
Yes.
I will definitely try and publicize that for you. Rest in peace, Gorilla.
Yeah, and Gorilla, and make sure when you land, you eliminate a certain Wicked Witch of the East too.
Yeah. Well, when Gorilla lands, it'll be nice and gentle. It'll be a nice, gentle landing because it's a magic tornado.
Well, and for the new so-called Wizard of Oz offshoot called Wicked the movie, I'm not gonna go see it. I'm in the theater. I may so-called watch it online if by other means, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you mean R? R.
Yeah, to see if it's
What
any
other
good.
way is there? What other way is there? Right.
Yeah, to see if it's any good. I may, but
or we
odds
could-
are, I probably would find it boring. If anything, if it's any of the new woke stuff, either boring or I'll just go outright. Okay, this is bad. I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah, it's a sign. Oh, great! There's my flapjacks. Thank you, Matt.
Oh man, now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I mean,
That's kind of a running joke between Matt and myself is the flapjacks thing. And on Discord, a lot of times Matt and I and another gentleman exchange breakfast pictures and emojis on Discord, and there's times where Matt will just have cups of coffee, and I'll just go, "Hey, where are my flapjacks?" So that's where it all started.
uh-huh.
Oh. Anyway, as great as The Wizard of Oz is as a film, is there any other movies you guys might want to talk about, or other
Well,
topics? Just wondering.
Do you
Another
like
good-
around the same time period? Is there some favorites?
As I was going to say,
I
a movie is not necessarily one of my favorites, but it's incredible that Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind came out in the same year.
They
yeah,
did.
and what's interesting? Thanks for reminding me. I was going to talk to PvP about who directed Wizard of Oz. Victor Fleming directed Wizard of Oz. He took over, and I think he was the third director. And it was the same situation on Gone with the Wind. He was like the third director because they had George Cukor and Sam Wood were working on Gone with the Wind. They were fired, and Clark Gable had worked with Victor Fleming before, and Victor Fleming was kind of a man's man. And so Gable kind of suggested that's how Victor Fleming took over for Gone with the Wind. So he directed those two films.
Pretty damn good director, though. I
Yeah.
don't care if he's a man's man. He was just a
George
excellent
Cukor.
director.
The thing with George Cukor, he adored the women and took time with all the actresses and all the male stars like Leslie Howard and Clark Gable. They're kind of pissed off, and it's like, well, so what? So what? Cukor is like, you guys know what you're doing. I wanna spend time with my leading ladies, and who could blame them? But and then Sam Wood took over, and if I remember right, Sam Wood actually directed the Burning of Atlanta sequence.
That is a great sequence. Power to him.
Yeah, but Victor Fleming basically filmed the majority of Gone with the Wind, and I think Victor Fleming had to start the whole film over again with Wizard of Oz. I don't think there's any footage that survives from the previous director.
Was that because it was so poorly directed?
Well, if you watch some of the documentaries on the Wizard of Oz, you'll see the makeup for Dorothy. She was blonde,
Huh.
and was a little bit too pretty.
Wow.
Kind of more. Let me rephrase that. It was too glamorous a look for a girl from Kansas, so to speak.
She was Hollywood.
And it was basically Hollywood, and it was just totally wrong, and her dress was totally wrong, and they got all that fixed by the time Fleming got on board.
Well, that's good, because she should look like a Kansas girl next door type, right?
I misspoke there. There was, I'm trying to think. I think if I remember right, maybe George Cukor had something to do with Dorothy's traditional look rather than Victor Fleming. I'm trying to think. There was one of the directors that got the look changed before Fleming took over the production, and that was his main contribution, was getting some of the costumes changed, especially Dorothy's look. It's been a long time since I've seen that behind the scenes documentary, but that's worth a look. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Sit down. Would you like to read this?
Food, and that was a typo. I wasn't meant to type in. I deleted it on YouTube.
That's okay. Go ahead, Storm Racket.
Suzanne says, "Gorilla, hello."
And go ahead, PvP.
Gorilla's Random Thought says, I'll see if I can land on a couple Polations.
Plantations, I think maybe.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
really sure what he meant
there it
by
is.
that.
Right
Oh,
there.
politicians.
Politicians. Oh, we should have known that.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you go.
girl. There we
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
understood, loud and clear.
Loud and clear makes sense now. Yeah.
PvP, how about this one?
Suzanne says sci-fi. Sit down. Hello.
And Gorilla says, hey, Suzanne, how are you? And Stonewhack, would you like to read this?
Suzanne says Stone Racket, hello, and she spelled my name as two different separate words. It's all
Yes.
one word, everybody.
Stonewhack, one word. And
So we should
Sci-Fi
call you.
says, Dan,
Ooh, it looks like a bunch of food. Looks like flapjacks,
hungry.
bacon, and fried egg, and then it's not translating the last one for me.
Well, that was supposed to be a teapot since the PvP loves tea.
Oh, tea. Yeah, that's good.
PvP, can you read this?
Suzanne says, Gorilla, I've been better, thanks. Kinda outta it presently.
Oh, that's too
Sorry.
bad.
Sorry to hear that, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Sit down. Would you like to read this?
Sit down. I made some s'mores brownies today. Yum, delicious.
Oh, that sounds great.
And sit down.
Good. I'll bring the milk or tea.
There you go.
Good response.
And some of the British actually put milk in their tea. So
I put milk in my tea all the time.
oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do that, but I know I've heard especially if you're watching some British film, you know, sometimes they'll
Well, I
have
know
a
the British also put lemon in their tea, but
lemon. Yeah.
I've never been into that. So, you
Uh-huh.
know, I just put
Well-
a little bit of milk at the, you know.
Yeah.
I don't care for black tea straight. I find it
Yeah.
a bit too harsh tasting. So
If you recall the Great Escape movie, the Donald
Oh, yeah.
Pleasance character says that tea with you know, having tea without milk is so uncivilized. I think is his line in that movie.
well, Donald was a Canadian, so I can kind of relate to what he's saying there, you know.
And he was also a prisoner of war in
Yeah.
real life.
But I think a lot of us Canucks kind of do tend to put a bit of milk in our tea, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never done that.
It's actually that's the only way I drink it really, but
Uh-huh.
give it a try sometime. You might enjoy it.
Well, when it's pure black tea, of course you can add a little milk to it.
Yeah, but it's
Well, I think pure
if it's
black
pure
is
black
harsh,
tea.
yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. I don't drink the pure black tea myself, but yeah, I can understand people putting milk in that one.
Yeah, I
PvP.
do the rose pico tea, which is really my favorite, and
Uh-huh.
a little bit of milk on top, just kind of touches it off, kind of.
Hey,
Would you like-
PvP, do you want to read this one by Suzanne?
Sure, Suzanne. Oh, PvP, I do love my tea. I can totally relate, Suzanne.
Hello, Herc130. Good to see you. Herc says, hey, Pamela and Suzanne.
Hi, Herc.
Yeah, welcome, Herc. Hope you're doing well.
So PvP. So you're not a Captain Picard type of tea guy. Tea Earl Grey hot.
I don't mind Earl Grey. Earl Grey is fine, but I just usually go for orange pico because I just find I like the taste of that a bit more personally. Earl Grey's fine though. I mean, let's put it this way: if I'm staying at a hotel and the only thing they got in the kitchen is little packets of Earl Grey, I'll quite gladly, have Earl Grey tea. I don't really, it's not a big deal.
Herc says,
Yeah.
sorry, Suzanne says Herc130. Hello again.
Yeah, it seems like that the type of tea I like is Earl Grey tea and a few others.
Yeah.
Is that because of Star Trek?
No, it's just it's the type of tea I like.
Yeah, it's remember Pop, Sci-Fi Sithan is a casual Star Trek fan, so
Oh, gotcha.
so basically no Earl Grey, and then for TOS no Sarian brandy, right, Dan?
Well, for hard stuff, I prefer rum.
There you go.
PvP.
I think TOS didn't TOS have the Saurian brandy though, didn't it? Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I was just making a joke with Dan there.
Okay.
Here's something for you to read there, PvP.
Suzanne says, "I like orange pico." That's
Well, there you go.
great, Suzanne. There you go.
Herc says, great night, having fun stumbling around the YouTubes. Awesome.
Yeah, I know the feeling, stumbling around the YouTubes. I've done
Yeah,
that a
but
few times.
you know, to tell you the truth, unless I'm watching my Blu-rays, my classic movies and TV shows, I'm watching YouTube. I'm not watching anything that's coming out of Hollywood these days at all.
It's crazy. Like, I haven't put my TV on in a serious way in about 2 years, and I really don't miss it. Like YouTube is way more entertaining with the content on here. I mean, if it's not
Oh
being on
yeah.
a panel with you guys, it's just watching whatever. Because I can watch, music videos. I can watch educational videos. I can watch any kind of videos that have way better content than the garbage on television. Like, I mean, the only reason I still have a basic cable package is when I, renegotiated it like 6 months ago and got a much lower rate. Is like, okay, if you got your landline phone, you got your internet connection, which, is good because it's a solid into the, cable wall. And I do have Wi Fi on top of that if I so choose to use it, which I don't. And then they said, well, you got your basic TV package already, so we're gonna upgrade you to the new cable on for your internet. And it's like if you cut your TV, you're only maybe going to save like $20. And I thought, oh, what the hell? For $20, if I want to watch sports, you know, maybe there's a great sports game I want to watch, and it's like for $20, it's like I just couldn't cut it. But I still don't watch TV. I think TV's a wasteland these days, guys.
Tell me, is TV dying out? Because I haven't watched TV
I think it
in
is.
over a decade.
I think it is dying out, Dan. I really do.
Yeah, it's just like that one line from the Next Gen episode, The Neutral Zone, like when they asked how long TV's been out, and said, "Oh, TV has been extinct since the year 2040." If you've seen the episode.
I remember it. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be extinct that quickly, but I could see it being extinct in maybe another 10 years after that.
PvP,
Well-
can you read this?
Suzanne says, Herc 130 bumping into each other tonight. Ooh, sexy.
Gorilla says, hope things get better, Suzanne. I made some shorts of the food and drinks we had today.
Ooh, cool.
PvP, can you read that?
Herc 130 says, I love going down rabbit holes of YouTube. I got into Jacques Cousteau's ship Calypso. Fascinating subject. I remember Jacques Cousteau. That was back when TV
Yeah.
was actually interesting.
What
Gorilla, I'm
made
doing
the
better now than I was a few months ago, says Suzanne. Sorry, go ahead, Sean Rackett.
Oh, I was just going to say, since PvP mentioned Jacques Cousteau, what really made those early Jacques Cousteau documentaries just so fascinating was Rod Serling's narration. He added so much to those.
I'd forgotten about that. Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those in like 30 years, though, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's he did of course Rod Serling tragically passed away in the summer of 1975, so the Jacques Cousteau specials from the early 70s were all narrated by Rod Serling. And
He was originally supposed to do In Search of before Leonard Nimoy took over as well.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. That's cool. But his death kind of he died when he was 50, and it was just a shame. But he was such a heavy smoker.
Yep.
Yeah, what did Rod smoke, like 6 packs a day or something? I think I read somewhere once.
Yeah.
Like,
But the thing is, I think his father had heart problems, and Rod was just playing with fire by being such a heavy smoker. He should have been more proactive since his father passed away from a heart attack.
Yeah, I remember every interview I ever saw with Serling, he was always puffing on the smoke.
Oh yeah, he constantly.
Yeah, it's crazy,
smoking.
right? It's like, oh wow, oh gosh.
And his brother, you know, always bugged him about his smoking habit, and
Yeah.
he never turned away from it, unfortunately.
Well,
Um,
I can understand it. I mean, this may not make any sense, but I mean, we know how hard a worker Rod Serling was, like cranking out those, even before Twilight Zone, he was cranking out, TV plays and, doing his sort of stuff even in the 50s. And then once he landed at the Twilight Zone, how many episodes he must have wrote? Like what, half, 2/3 of the Twilight Zone episodes?
He
Like he wrote
wrote
a lot.
there's like 156,
Yeah,
I think, episodes, and
that sounds right.
he wrote about 95 of them.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Like about two
Yeah.
thirds. And like I kind of can forgive him for being a chain smoker because if I'm sitting and he was sitting at a typewriter back in those days, let's remember,
No,
guys, right?
no. He narrated to his secretary.
Oh, he did the dictaphone thing, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for reminding me, Bob.
Yeah, he
He did do
and
the dictaphone. Yeah.
Jack Laird, the producer of Night Gallery, that just irked him to no end that Serling could just lay by a swimming pool and talk into his dictaphone, and write and play all the characters, and have his secretary type it up, and then Rod would do a polish, and then boom, got a script done just like that. And Jack Laird had to work and work, and he worked at his typewriter, and he just it took him a lot longer and a lot more effort. And here's Serling just laying by a swimming pool and just talking into his machine.
We all kind of know the comparison between the quality of Rod Serling and Jack Laird, do we not? Like, it's like there's no contest there.
Well,
Sorry.
Laird's
Sorry, Laird.
Laird's straight up adaptation of I think his one of his scripts is I'll Never Leave You Ever. He did an adaptation of that, and he did a good job of adapting the story. And some of his straight adaptations are well done, but his comedy, not so much.
Oh, I cringed at some of the comedy.
Cringe.
Yeah.
PvP,
That's
would
what
you like to read this?
Okay. Gorilla Random Thought says PvP. That's racist. It's what? Tea of color? Oh, jeez, Gorilla.
That's good, Suzanne, says Gorilla. And Suzanne said, PvP, do you remember when Cousteau came? I'll let you read that.
PvP, do you remember when Cousteau came to Penticton to check out Okanagan Lake? I don't, because I lived in Vernon back in those days, which is like a good couple hours away from Penticton, because Vernon's on the north end of Okanagan Lake, Penticton's on the south end, which is like 90 miles apart. So yeah, I do not remember, unfortunately, Suzanne.
man, how big was your guys' lake?
It's about 90 miles long. It's one of the biggest lakes in the province.
Isn't that lake supposed to have its own monster?
Ogopogo.
Ogopogo, yeah, that's it.
Our very own lake monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen videos, photos. Even the indigenous people, like centuries ago, were having stories, fables about the lake monster.
Yeah.
So this goes back like hundreds of years, and I'm open minded. I mean, I'm not really skeptical. I think, well, until it's proven to not exist or to exist, I'll keep the book open on that one. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm sure it does bring tourists in.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm glad you said tourist, because the Outer Limits episode, Tourist Attraction, remember those monsters that lived in the water?
Oh, geez, I haven't seen that in too
I
long.
don't
I
remember
don't
that.
remember them.
Yeah, it's those are real. I saw it on TV when I was a kid. No.
Yeah, I haven't seen Outer Limits, and so I actually have all the episodes on DVD on the shelf over here somewhere. I was lucky enough to buy those at Walmart for like $30 for both seasons, which I'm sure now you'd pay a hell of a lot more a second hand. But I think there's some really amazing episodes of that Outer Limits.
Sit there.
I'm
Can
gonna-
you read this?
That generation like 50 in their 30s.
Yeah, you got that. All that hard smoking and hard drinking.
And PvP.
Suzanne says he came to check the depth of it because of the Ogopogo. I
Yeah.
think Lake Okanagan is a very deep lake, from what I know. Oh, Suzanne says I seen it twice, and he claimed not to find the bottom of the lake. Yeah, I think it's a very large lake, 90 miles long, very deep. So I think it was probably cut out when the glaciers receded from this part of our world. So yeah, it's like Loch Ness compared to Loch Ness a lot, right? In the size and the depth, as being
There's a
possibly harboring a lake creature of some kind.
or a whole lot of critters.
Well, I would just love if there were critters, because
Yeah.
man, just think if we could actually get a good video of the critters, like tourists would be flocking here in the summer. Like, man, that'd be awesome.
You know that castle ruin by Loch Ness?
I've heard of it.
Have you seen pictures of that?
I don't think
yeah.
I have, actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the publication that my father got that was tied in with National Geographic, and there was this little these little magazines that would come every month, and it was kind of like highlights, but I think it was from the National Geographic publication, and they had a little thing on Loch Ness, and of course Nessie, but they had a picture of the loch and that castle ruin. And when I saw that, it wasn't too much longer. This is when I was a young lad. I had a dream that I was on the top of that castle, and Nessie emerged out of the loch, and it was, of course, a plesiosaur, but it was much bigger in my dream. And Nessie's head and neck loomed over me as I looked up from the castle. It was a very vivid dream that I had. It's like, and it's totally quiet.
That's what the theory is, that they are plesiosaurs or whatever.
Right,
call them.
plesiosaurs.
Yeah,
but yeah, my version of it as a child was probably 5 times bigger.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting to see an actual good, clear video, because there are videos and even photos taken locally here, but there's nothing I've ever seen that convinces me. Like,
Right.
it makes me interested. I go, well, that looks very interesting, because it doesn't look like a school of fish, swimming or whatever that some people claim,
Now,
right?
speaking
It looks
of
like something unusual. Let's put it that way.
speaking of interesting and unusual, Suzanne says that she's also seen Sasquatch.
Wow. Yeah, is that you've seen Sasquatch in Saskatchewan? I didn't know they were out there far. Yeah, Nemesis, I know. We've heard that theory that Ogopogo is a massive sturgeon. We've heard that theory, but I don't think it holds up, really. Oh, by Summerland. Okay. Summerland's not that far from here. Hey, Gorilla.
Hey,
You okay?
Hey,
You
No.
survived the tornado?
Welcome, Gorilla.
no, it was just a brief funnel cloud, nothing much.
Oh, okay.
yeah, well, PvP, you have to see from his point of view. Gorilla's tired from chasing around his kids all day. That's why.
No, crowds make me tired.
Oh, you're dealing
Yeah,
with
plus,
crowds.
Yeah, plus, I've been munching all day.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Lots of beef jerky because my dad brought the fireball jerky. Oh my god, that's like the best jerky ever.
It's
Yeah.
spicy, right?
Good beef
No.
jerky is hard to
It's a
resist.
sweet. The fireball makes it nice and sweet.
Mm.
I had a ton of beef jerky last weekend because somebody gave me a whole package for free, and I was like, I ain't letting this go to waste. It's So I was eating beef jerky all night, just like, oh my, what am I doing?
No. Yeah, my dad's is homemade, so.
Oh, you lucky guy.
So
Who'd like to
PvP,
do
yeah.
this?
Oh, hey, guess what my new ringtone is?
What's that?
Here, let's see if you recognize it.
Hopefully, Pop does not get copyrighted.
That little bit won't get him copyrighted. I don't know if you heard it.
I didn't hear a thing.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
No.
no.
Whoa.
I heard
Is that
something.
it?
I heard
Oh,
something. I
it's
can't
the
make
muck
it out.
time. It's the muck time, the fight scene.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear it
Gotcha.
clearly, but I'll take your
Da,
word
da,
for it.
da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da.
Who wants to read this?
I don't. It's that evil guy. Not
Uh,
Herc, but
Elstree Crawley's
Ah!
Castle Room.
Wasn't that the guy that was a Satanist or something?
right.
freaking
But
thing?
he had nothing to do with the Scottish castle. I don't know what the name of that castle is, but has nothing to do with that nut job.
Suzanne says
Nemesis.
Nope.
Nemesis Nope. No Summerland. Okay. Husbands don't count, says Herc 130 to Suzanne. Okay. I'm kind of lost here. Oh, she's about it's about Sasquatch. Says husbands don't count. Get it?
Sasquatchuan.
Sasquatch. Yeah, there we go.
That's good.
And Suzanne says, Gorilla, I've been making brownies all day. What do you think of that, Gorilla?
I've had enough brownies today.
Oh, you had enough brownies today? Okay.
Yeah, I've had enough beef jerky today.
I would never ever say I've been making brownies all day, because it could very much get taken the wrong way, and I'd be in serious trouble. So I will never say that.
Hey, it can't be worse than who was it that said they had a brownout?
That was you, wasn't it?
No. We were on a different stream and someone said they had a brownout.
Oh, I think that was Mikey.
Suzanne says, Nemesis, nothing in Saskatchewan. Even the birds fly upside down here because nothing worth pooping on here.
Oh, that's a pretty low rating of Saskatchewan there, actually. Gosh.
Nemesis of Eden says, Gorilla sounds like he's had the special brownies.
No, I wish. I was
Yeah,
about ready to go. I was about ready to go. I was about to go digging in my mom's purse for gummies.
So Gorilla, I didn't quite get why were you dealing with crowds today? What was the event?
Get together.
Oh, just to get together?
Yeah, it's our summer get together that we go with the family.
All the clans got together there.
Yeah, plus we had to all go goo goo gaga over the new baby.
Oh. Yeah.
I've already seen the baby, so I let the other ones.
Gorilla, did
What?
you go googly 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 goo?
No, I let the other ones play. I let the other ones play with the baby there.
That's my Dr. McCoy reference for the day.
Well, when people talk about seeing the baby, I think of Seinfeld. You know, you got to see the baby, baby, and of course, that episode with Kramer thinks the baby looks like LBJ.
That's a nasty episode. Oh, that's nasty.
Gotta see the baby. No, I don't want to see the baby.
And when everybody looks at the baby, they pull that awful stink
nasty
face, don't they?
Nemesis of Eden says, "Hail, Herc. I hope you're well." PvP, would like to read this?
Suzanne says, PvP is perfect for me. It's quiet, relaxing, peaceful here. Well, that is very awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Relaxing is good.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, it says you're live in 2 hours there, Pop. What's going on?
It's probably an old screenshot.
Yeah, it must be an
It
old
is.
screenshot. Holy moly.
I didn't have my external hard drive with me at the hospital, so I had
Okay,
to
no
pull up an
worry.
old screenshot.
It's okay. It's all right. Technology, the wonders of technology. But hey, it's working well. You sound really good and clear tonight, actually, I gotta say, Pop. So it's really working good tonight.
Yeah, I just wish I felt better. I'm thinking what Gorilla said. I haven't been able to eat a bite all day. In fact, 2 days. You're lucky, Gorilla.
Oh no, I think I was a little too eager to eat today.
Hold on, guys. I got to mute.
I guess Pop must love the hospital food in his area.
Nah, it doesn't sound like he's loving it too much because he hasn't eaten anything.
Well, I guess I'm eating something now. She's running my scheduled morphine.
Don't they have any like the Ensure protein shakes that you can take?
Not here. I left all those at home, unfortunately.
Oh, they don't have. What? Gosh, they should have them there.
I'm going to ask them. You know, it's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. I would ask them. Yeah.
You really should ask them, Pop. Like, that seems weird that they wouldn't have that available.
I'm calling her back. The morphine doesn't really do much good. It's the oxy that helps the most.
Well, the reason why it probably doesn't work very well is because you're used to morphine a lot. That's why.
I'm
Yeah,
trying not to
morphine.
build up my tolerance.
Morphine didn't do squat for me. They were giving me that when I had kidney stones, but I
Yeah, well I have a question.
yeah, that if any of you have kidney stones, I always ask, give me Toradol. That stuff works great. Yeah, one of the nurses told me when I was still working at the medical facility that I retired from almost a year ago. They told me that Toradol is a hyped up form of ibuprofen, and it's given to you intravenously. But that within just a couple minutes completely killed the kidney stone pain for me.
Were you able to pass it?
Oh yeah. It's funny whenever they when they have the CT scan. Every time I've gone in, it's been 3 times now. When they have the CT scan, they always say, "Yeah, it's right above your bladder." It's like, but yeah, I have been able to pass. They're stones that are between 3 and 4 millimeters.
Boy, they sure are lovely to try to pass, aren't they?
Well, I just don't understand how people pass the larger ones, because these things that I've had just excruciatingly painful. And
Yeah, my mom had kidney stones many years ago, and she was in agony for like a couple of weeks at least before she finally passed the damn thing.
but she
But
was able to pass
Hey.
without.
she
Did she have like what I guess what they call lithotripsy, where they kind of
I,
break it up with sound?
they might have. I can't remember because
Uh-huh.
that's like 30 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Some racket. So
Well, that would be. I think that would be before the use of lithotripsy.
my mom was she was so tough she could have been on the frontline troops. Let's put it this way.
There you go.
She was a trooper. She had tons of health problems during her life, like different surgeries and procedures. And my mother, oh, don't even. I felt bad all the stuff she had to endure during her life, but she was a very, very tough as nails kind of lady. So she went through hell for a couple weeks, but she sailed through it like she always did, eventually. So yeah. Anyway.
Nemesis of Eden says morphine, but then Suzanne has I use injectionable Toradol. Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, Toradol's great. Yeah, between the injections and the oxycodone, it makes the pain manageable. All I know is Toradol. I just wondered why they hadn't used it before, because the first two times I went to the hospital, they were using morphine. Of course, the first time when they were giving me morphine in the ambulance, I said that's not going to do any good. But they still gave me two. They gave me a normal dose and then a large dose, and then another normal dose and another large dose when I actually got to the hospital. It didn't do a darn thing.
I never
Yeah,
heard of it.
yeah.
And the only time once it got above my bladder, got to that position, that's when I was able to tolerate the pain and be able to stay in one spot, because all you can do is pace back and forth. And that's all I was doing. I had my IV pole, and I was going back and forth in my room because they were, when I first got there, they wanted me to lay on the damn bed to take vitals, and I was like, I got to keep moving. It's like I can't lay in one spot. This is excruciating. But once they got the vitals, I got up on my feet and just paced back and forth.
Well, I
And the-
guess that.
And the people at the unit desk would would follow me back and forth as I went back and forth in my room, because it was basically like being in a fishbowl. It was a big sliding glass door for a room door, so they could see me going back and forth. But that's all he could do,
Well, I gotta say this, Sonragi. You and the women that have kids have something in common. You both know how the pain feels.
Well, that's a whole different level of pain with the childbirth, but I may have mentioned this in a previous rumblings, but one of the times it was when I was there in 2013. That was at the end of June. When I went in for a kidney stone, the doctor told me there were two other men in the emergency ward that were having kidney stones, and he said, and on the floor above us, there's three women giving birth. And I just looked at the doctor and I go, "What is there, a full moon out or something?" It's like weird.
And did you ask him which one's easier to deal with?
Oh no, I think the childbirth pain is much worse, is at least what I've heard, but I don't know. I mean, how could I know? But yeah, it's a pain that I hopefully that won't happen to me again. It's the first time it happened to me. I was in grad school, and I was in my 20s, and the urologist concurred with my theory. My theory was I was recovering from a upper respiratory infection, and my father. It was over the holidays, and my father gave me these 1,500 milligram time released vitamin C horse pills, basically these huge things. And I was taking those, but I wasn't drinking enough water. And I asked the urologist, could that have crystallized my urine? Could that have caused this problem? And they thought, well, that's a pretty good theory, because there was no trace of a stone. I didn't pass anything, nothing came through, so to speak. But that was just really weird. But that happened two different times. It was first on the left side, the left kidney, and then on the right a week later. And the first time it hit me, I thought I was dying. The pain was so bad, and it was just excruciating. And my roommate at the time was out of town, so there was nobody there, and all I was doing was pacing back and forth, throwing up, but eventually the pain went away. But when I went into the student health on campus, I started describing what was going on, and the doctor started just kind of interrupted, and they go, and all you could do was pace back and forth, and you couldn't sit down, you couldn't lay down, and then he goes, and did you feel like you were going to die? And I go, yeah. And he goes, we call that impending doom. And he just looked at me. He goes, son, you passed a stone. So
Hey.
he referred me over to a urologist over at the main hospital,
Yeah.
and they did the whole X-ray thing and the contrast fluid and all that.
Yeah. For me, for my kidney stones, I was drinking cranberry juice. And heck,
Yeah,
if you
that's a
don't
good.
like it-
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
If you don't like cranberry juice, add vodka till you do.
Yeah, there. Yeah, cranberry juice is good. That's good stuff.
Why cranberry specifically?
It dissolves the stones that build up in your kidneys.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's because of its acidity. I think
that and pomegranate juice.
and pomegranate. Yeah, that's the other one. Right, Gorilla. That's exactly what they told me. Yeah.
Who would like to read this?
Herc 130 says, "Hail, Nemesis of Eden," with 3 exclamation points.
Oh yeah, I was all excited.
So he's all fired up.
Well, they did have the boost or insure or whatever, so that's good.
Yeah, boost or insure. Those are the two. Yeah. They when I was in the hospital for the COVID, I they asked me the second day I was there. They were like, "How much do you weigh?" And I said, "Well, normally, 152 pounds." They go, you're 129 pounds. And I'm like, what? And so the dietitian, I said, is there some extra stuff you can give me? And they gave me the Ensure protein shakes. And they also gave me for lunch and supper, they gave me this high protein ice cream called Thrive.
I need to ask about that.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I hear Thrive, I think of the cat food from the 70s that came out in 78. It's like Thrive. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a cat food, isn't it? But no, there's this ice cream. They had strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate, and I had all 3 flavors different times when I was in the hospital for a week.
Hey, I never heard of it. I need to try it.
Yeah, it's great. The Mercy Hospital that I went to, their food was fantastic, and whatever concoction they gave me through the IV, I got my appetite back, and so I was eating everything that they gave me.
Oh, I was trying to get that. I was just thinking about that. I wish I could get like an IV or something.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta get something going for you there, Pop. This is
Yeah, I'm now down to 95 pounds.
that's 5 alarm bells there. They got to do something immediately.
Too bad that they can't put. Can they put you on like one of those nutrition more drips?
I don't know. But my stomach really hurts because I haven't been eating. But if I stop taking pain pills, the pain from my cancer, bone cancer, is too excruciating.
I just have to wonder, Pop, that there's no medical professionals that can figure out a way to give you some nutrition. you know, when you're facing this condition that you're facing right now, it's like I
Well, I'm
find
on
it a bit
hospice.
baffling, to be
I'm
honest.
on
I really do.
hospice. I'm on hospice, so they're
But
not
there
really
still
doing
must
the
be a way
best
they
enough.
can, even if it's intravenous, they must be able to give you some liquids or nourishment of some kind. Like, huh?
Well,
No.
Bob, I just hope you're able to just keep yourself relatively fit and fit,
Fit?
sort of, given your condition.
I guess you could say I'm fit. But anyway, don't mean to bring down the conversation. Sorry.
You're fine.
No, you're good, Pop. We totally understand what you're dealing with. Like, it's you know, it's not a problem for us.
Well, for hospital stories, um, I guess Stone Racket has us beat for now.
Yeah, I think we've had
Oh,
enough
it's
hospital stories.
yeah,
Perhaps
it's not a competition. Let's
let's
stop
move.
talking about hospitals.
Can we talk about something happy, like, you know?
Well, let's get back to some favorite movies. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I just watched Jaws the other day because it takes place on the 4th of July, and that's a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, I saw that when it first came out.
I did too. I was 1975. My best buddy and I made the big mistake at the first week of getting tickets, and we sat in the very front row of the theater. It's
What?
like you don't want to do that when you're a teenager, and then there's that scene where Richard Dreyfuss's character goes to investigate that wrecked boat,
Yeah,
and that guy's head pops up with his
right.
eyeball dangling around. It's like, ah! I'll
Yeah,
never forget that.
that
Oh
was
my
a
god.
great jump scare. And so
Oh,
once I experienced that when I went to see the movie again, I watched the audience because I knew it was coming, and they didn't, for the most part anyway.
uh-huh.
And they just all freaked, and it made it
Oh
a
yeah.
lot more fun. But yeah, I went to that several times, and one of my friends, his older brother, it's we've gone through the whole summer. We're back in school, and my friend Tom, his older brother Quint, was like, "No, I haven't seen Jaws," and we're like, "You haven't seen Jaws?" He's like, "What the heck's the matter with you?" Everybody's seen that movie.
Yeah, it's one of those classic films. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Gorilla. Have you seen Jaws, Gorilla?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Because you're looking for a film to do tomorrow on Sunday Cinema, are you not?
Yeah, Jaws was on the list for the Jaws franchise was on the list.
I'd say if you want to start Jaws tomorrow, I'd be game for that because it's pretty good.
Well, then I'd want to do the whole franchise.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I would say the first movie is an instant, very good movie. The second one is okay-ish, but then after that, from what I hear, the movies get worse and worse. After
Well, how many
the
Jaws
second one.
movies are there?
There's
Yeah.
4.
Oh crap. Okay, maybe that's a bad suggestion.
Yeah, there's Jaws 2, then Jaws 3D, and then was it Jaws the Revenge is the 4th one or something
Revenge or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and is Jaws 4 the Revenge? This time it's personal.
Like it wasn't
Something
the
like
first.
that.
Like it wasn't the first couple of movies when they got eaten, right? It wasn't personal.
Well, it's basically I think Jaws 2, it's the shark's mate that
Oh,
is, and then probably Jaws 3 and 4, it's the kids. I don't I don't know.
it's like Son of Jaws.
It's
kinda.
like Son of
Yeah.
Jaws, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
But yeah, I saw Jaws in the theater, and then when I had cable, that's the only time I saw Jaws 2, and that's
Yeah.
all I've seen. I haven't
I've heard
seen any of the
Jaws
others.
2 is not too bad.
Well, it
but
has Roy Scheider in it,
yeah.
so
No, that's a bonus.
that's good. That's a bonus. Yeah.
Well, it's mostly
It's-
about the wife, though.
Oh,
She
okay.
moves far away. She moves far away because she's traumatized, and the
Oh,
shark
okay.
actually follows her to where she's at and haunts her.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's been
kinda
so long.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen it. I don't remember that, but yeah.
Okay, I just want to ask Gorilla then, what other Sunday cinema classics on your list for tomorrow, Gorilla?
Well, I was thinking maybe doing a rewatch. Have you ever seen the movie Atomic Twister?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll do that one tomorrow. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I really enjoyed that movie.
Okay,
It's a
well,
made-for-TV TNT movie.
if it's just a one-off, then that might be a better idea, actually.
Yeah.
So how many of you have seen Jaws 2 roughly when it came out in theaters or seen it on
No,
TV?
I've only seen the
I
first one.
did. I saw the second one in the theaters.
Yeah, because I think I seen the. Well, my memory is kind of fuzzy. Which one is it that has the kids with it? With the shark is chasing the kids on the boats. Which one is that? Is that the second one or is that the third one?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, you guys there, if you appreciate Jaws there, you would really like to buy one short I made at one time. There was this guy, he must have been like 350 some pounds to 400 pounds, and he went to go windsurfing there. And he was just getting dragged along the beach, and then he's getting dragged along the top of the water. You could just hear the motor of the boat going, rawr, 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 at like max power. Then all of a sudden it cuts to the one Jaws scene where the guy's backing up, smoking the cigarette, going, "We're gonna need a bigger boat."
Yeah, and that was going to be my next comment. I assume since we all seen the first movie, we know the famous line from the character Jody, if that is his name.
Brody.
Mm.
It's Chief Brody is Roy Scheider's character, and yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Tell me, well, that line is often misquoted as well. Is that what he really says, or is that just
it's when he's throwing chum in the water, and his line is something like, you should take your turn slinging this junk. Although he doesn't say junk, he says something starts with S, and the shark just pops out of the water briefly and freaks him out, and he's like, "You're gonna need a bigger boat."
And that's the first reveal of the shark, is it?
Yeah,
not?
I believe so. As far as
Yeah.
the face of the shark.
Yeah, and
With-
I think that's a brilliant.
Yeah.
Spielberg did a brilliant scene there, like because the shark in the first, gosh, I don't know how many minutes of the film, it's only like maybe a shadow under the water we see passing by a boat, right? It's
Yeah,
not explicit.
we see him under the water. We see a full length shot when before he gets the guy that loses his leg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And but what was nice was the mechanical shark kept malfunctioning, that they
yeah.
had to work around it. But the thing is, it
Bruce.
works better.
It actually was better. Yeah,
It works,
Bruce.
It works
Yeah,
better. That Bruce. And why was it named Bruce? Because apparently someone's lawyer's name was Bruce, and shark and lawyer. But anyway.
Oh boy, yeah.
It did work out well though, because they didn't overuse the shark, and that's probably what actually made the scenes that it did appear in even more enjoyable. At least I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find that kind of a twist of fate, or ironic that the boat that they're in is called the orca, the natural enemy of the shark.
Uh-huh.
Well, orcas are called killer whales, and they can be pretty nasty beasts as well, even though I think orcas are much less aggressive, because orcas are a big thing off our coastline here. And they do come into the harbor in Vancouver at times. I've seen orcas actually swimming in their natural state in the harbor when I lived in Vancouver. And they seem to be basically quite docile when it comes to humans, because I've seen them in captivity, and they do seem to be generally a placid species, not nearly as aggressive as sharks. So just saying.
Wildlife, and unless they see you as food, they generally leave you alone unless you piss them off.
Orcas seem to be pretty placid. Well, the thing with orcas, they're very much a species that has their pods, right? They sort of have families, pods you know, so there are more sociable creatures that, whereas a shark is, I think, more of a lone, you know, hunter, whereas orcas are more family oriented with their other, you know, the other members of their pods. So I think there's a difference in the mentality, perhaps, of the species.
So, PvP, are you a big fan of Free Willy?
I have never seen that movie.
Neither have I. I just thought I'd ask since you're talking about orcas.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's good, but I
Uh,
kind of thought the title was a bit silly, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good movie. I'll have to put it on the list.
I tell you though, when I hear something called Free Willy, my mind goes into
Gutter.
yeah, it goes right to the gutter. Yeah, yeah.
PvP. How can it go right to the gutter when you're already in the gutter?
Hey,
Ouch.
hey, hey, Gorilla, come on. We've done enough Walton streams, so I know you're in the gutter a lot of the time as well.
How
Come
many
on,
clips do I have
come
of you?
on.
How many clips have I clipped of you?
You haven't clipped that many.
That's good. That's because I've gotten lazy on it.
I should start
I
clipping
still got a
some
whole
clips of you.
backload of. I have about 38 hours I have to go through yet of stuff to clip.
So Gorilla, so you did do Sharknado, right? Before Crunch Stock?
We
You
did two of them.
And I was with you?
I believe so. We did them for Sunday Cinema, but we did not do them for Stock yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because 130's comment was he'd rather see Sharknado, at least it's based on a true story.
Oh, not Sharknado. I saw that already. No, 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 no. Please no.
I gotta say
Actually, I gotta say the first one was entertaining, but I don't need to see the sequels.
I gotta say that the chainsaw scenes with him and the sharks, those are they're so bad yet they're good at the same time.
Yeah. Come on, PvP. You're telling me you did not enjoy Will Wheaton getting his head bit off in the first 5 minutes?
No,
and
that
his
was
only credit is unnamed passenger.
yeah, that was great. I gotta admit, but you know, just one great film
I
with
respect this.
Will Wheaton getting offed does not make the entire franchise great.
Yeah,
Just
and
saying.
I think that franchise has 6 movies. Oh boy, that's more to Gorilla's list. He's probably writing it down on his keyboard right now.
What?
Yeah, Sharknado 6 sequels. Okay, gotta write that down. We saw the first 2. Check. We got 4 more to see. All right.
We'll get around to it eventually.
Hey, I'm gonna pull a gorilla here, and can we catch up on chats?
Does Gorilla have the authority to go through chats?
Herc 130. Herc 130 says the wife and I just finished The Hateful Eight and hated it. What is wrong with Quentin? He needs to see a professional.
Oh, is that Tarantino you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what Herc said. I would rather see Sharknado, at least. It is based on a true story. Laughing out loud.
Herc, you'll have to join us for Atomic Twister. That's a good one.
And then Herc 130 says, knock, knock. Who's there? Candygram. He's doing the land shark skit from Saturday Night Live.
But you gotta do it like this. You gotta go.
Yeah, I know.
Candygram,
yeah, I know. I know.
Candygram.
Well, I'll do one real quick here, and then I'll read this next one. But it's like the one I've seen is where Gilda Radner's in her apartment, and it's like knock. You know, there's a knock at the door, and it's like trick or treat. I'm sorry, I don't have anything. Trick or treat for UNICEF. Oh, okay. And she opens the door. But anyway, Herc 130, to keep the costs down and keep the technical problems down, they used the buoy to show the shark lurking around the boat. That's right. And even the sequence with the wooden dock, that was also improvisation to show the shark. Remember that scene where the
well, yeah, well, those 2 goofballs were out there.
Yeah, and anti-derivative Jill is here.
Hey,
She says
Jill.
hello. Hi, Jill.
Hey, Jill.
Hey, Jill.
And everyone's saying hi to Jill, and she's saying hi back to Herc 130.
Yeah.
I gotta say, for that one scene, that shark must have loved that roast.
Yes.
Yeah, but to him, it's just a little nibble. He wants the big stuff.
Well, he got a nice bite with that hunk of ham.
All right, that's all the chats.
Yeah, that's all the chats.
Yeah, I think it worked out well. Like the whole thing with the dock and the barrels. You know, like
Yeah.
it really added so much to the suspense of the film because we
Yeah.
know the monster's out there, but we don't get the reveal of
Hey,
the monster, which
hey,
is what I think great horror films always pretty much do. That do they not?
PvP. I have a trivia question for you.
Oh God, here we go again.
Who wrote the scene for Quint talking about the Indianapolis? Who wrote that scene?
You really expect me to know this stuff, don't you?
John Milius wrote that scene.
Okay, I never would have guessed that in a million years.
Yeah, and because the screenplay is credited to another writer, but Milius
Wasn't Benchley like the co-writer?
no,
of the
he wrote the Jaws was written. The novel was written by Peter Benchley, and the movie Jaws is one of those rare examples of where the movie is superior to the book because the book is a piece of trash.
But I believe Benchley was a screenplay writer, if I remember the
No,
credits.
I don't think so.
I think his name is twice in the credits.
But anyway, the guy that wrote the screenplay, they needed some help, and Milius wrote that, and then Robert Shaw kind of tweaked it a little bit because, of course, Robert Shaw is a playwright, you know, but he kind of tweaked it a little bit for his own. But his first take, he was so drunk that he botched it, and when he came back, he was very apologetic. He says, "Let's do this again," and that's the take. Of course, it's in the finished film, and that's one of my favorite scenes. But I didn't know that Milius wrote that till years later.
I just got to mention, Peter Benchley wrote the novel.
Right.
Screenplay by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb. So Benchley did have a role in the screenplay.
I don't know about that.
It's right here. I'm reading it.
Yeah, where are you reading it from?
Oh, it's on Wikipedia.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I think Wikipedia is generally pretty good, actually. I find most of their stuff's pretty good.
It's a CIA operation.
The problem with Wikipedia is
It's in the credits, too, for Christ's sakes. Take a look at the bloody film, guys.
no, I'm just saying the only problem Wikipedia is good for information, but the problem is anybody can go and edit it, so you gotta actually read it to make sure.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm
accurate.
I just watched a bloody film today.
Yeah, but let's change the subject off that.
All right. All right. Oh shoot.
Sorry.
Anyway, I guess
I
seeing
didn't
something in the
mean to-
credits don't mean nothing. So yeah,
I
let's
didn't
change the
mean to-
subject.
PvP enough. There's plenty of things to talk about. I don't mean to kill the conversation, but I want to keep this on a kind note for everybody. If we can, civil tonight.
Yeah, and just a little trivia, if Pop will allow it. From what I hear in the Jaws movie, the actor that played Quint, the guy that was sent to restrain his drinking actually got drunk with him a lot too. If that's true, is it?
I think I've heard that too. Yeah. Yeah, Robert Shaw was an alcoholic, unfortunately. But great performance, though, from what they got, you know, when he was not in his cups, so to speak. But yeah, Jaws started the summer blockbuster thing. And of course, Star Wars blew it out of the water. No pun intended. Haha.
Yeah, but that's different years. Wasn't Jaws 75 and Star Wars 77?
Yeah. What's your point?
Well, it's not the same year, so
Right. I didn't say it was the same year. I'm saying Jaws started the summer blockbuster movement in Hollywood, and Star Wars was even more of a phenomenon
yeah, I
two
think
two years later.
they're
So
both respective blockbusters, though. I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
it's a
but
competition between them, really.
there was after Jaws made it big, then Star Wars made it big. Lucas and Spielberg were best of friends, so that's what kicked off the competition. So, in response, Spielberg came out with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then they worked together on obviously Raiders of the Lost Ark, but they were competing for a little bit because of those first two movies.
you got it.
I do have a question. Was Jaws a independent film or was it a studio film?
It was a studio
at-
film. It was studio made at Universal.
Yeah, Universal.
Spielberg was affiliated with Universal at the start of his career.
You know, there's an interesting little tidbit about Jaws where there's a scene where it's like a night scene and there's like a shooting star that goes by in one scene. And I remember reading Spielberg actually said he decided to leave that in the film as like a little nugget to suggest about ET that he was going to be working on. So I always thought that was kind of interesting that Spielberg would leave that in that shot.
I'll be right back.
And here's another trivia question for you, PvP. With since we're talking about Spielberg, since Pop mentioned Spielberg and Lucas, what prompted them to do Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Well, I'm pretty sure they were both fans of the 1930s serials back in the old days. That might have
Yeah,
been one thing.
that
I
would be
guess.
that would be more of Lucas. But when Spielberg was taking a break in the post production for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Lucas was done with Star Wars, they both vacationed in Hawaii, and Spielberg built his Close Encounters sandcastle, and Lucas built his Star Wars sandcastle, and they were saying to each other, since they're both very competitive, that the sandcastle that gets demolished first will make less money at the box office. But while they were there on vacation, they talked about collaborating, and they were talking about making a movie something like the James Bond series.
Interesting.
And so that prompted, and and that just kind of started the ball rolling. They want to do something like a James Bond movie, but if you look at Raiders of the Lost Ark, we see Indiana Jones on a previous mission, in the opening, so to speak, like we do sometimes with Bond.
Huh.
But
Spielberg was actively trying to get a directing role in the Bond movies. He was turned down. And
oh
that's
yeah,
why they did Lost Ark.
well that was later though. That wasn't that early in his career when he was being turned down for Bond. But yeah, it's basically, if you're not British, they're not interested in you being the director very much. So it's just ridiculous. But they Christopher Nolan wanted to direct, and they turned him down. And so he did what's the name of that movie with the dream stuff?
Inception.
Inception, yeah, he did Inception, and I went into that that's one of those movies where I'm with my younger brother and we go, let's go see a movie. Okay, what do you want to go see? Well, I kind of heard Inception's interesting. Okay, let's go see that. And I went in kind of cold, and I'm watching this, and during that winter sequence, I turned to my little brother and I'm like, I'm getting a Honor and Majesty Secret Service vibe big time with this sequence. Turns out that that's Nolan's favorite Bond film.
Yeah, and just to go back to Jaws for a second.
Okay.
From what I hear, that the book it's based off of, and when I watched a YouTuber actually just compare and contrast between the movie and the book, Jaws in the book was actually more of a hero type of creature because all the humans in the book were basically scumbags, and the Jaws were just outright eating them in their lives. If that's true, from what I hear.
I really, the book for me was forgettable. I don't really remember, but I do that as far as unappealing characters. I think the only one that I recall being somewhat appealing, if that's the right word, would be Chief Brody. But then I don't really remember the novel that well. I just remember it being rather trashy, and I thought the movie was much superior.
Well, Stone Rocket, I haven't read the book, but I did see a YouTuber that does a compare and contrast between the movie and the book. And from what I hear, the book has less likable human characters than the Jaws shark creature was the hero in the novel.
Yes, that's weird. Hi, Jill.
Hey, Jill.
That's kind of funny. The shark was cleaning up all the naughty people.
Well,
Hey.
in the novel, oh gosh, what's Dreyfus's character's name? I can't think of it. But his character, his Hooper, yeah, or Hooper.
Matt Hooper, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Matt Hooper has an affair with Chief Brody's wife in the novel. It's just trash, I thought. But anyway.
Well, that's pretty cool. They can turn trash into treasure. Sometimes that can happen.
Yeah, it's one of the rare examples of a novel, of a movie being superior to the novel, at least in my book. No pun intended.
Yeah, and tell me, did the Jaws movies start the trend of people actually being afraid of sharks? Did it start that sort of trope in the fear of sharks in the main public?
It did. It changed the perception.
Yeah, sometimes a good villain shark can ruin the reputation of actually creatures that actually do some good in the ecosystem.
Hello, Jill. Good to see you. Glad you could be here.
Yeah, hello. I'm glad I could be here too. Just for a little while. I'll have to leave in a few, 20 minutes or so. But I thought I'd stop in and say hello.
So
Especially since Stone Racket is here. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, I heard Edge of Time was asking about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Edge of Time misses you. So speaking of, I thought you were in the hospital, Pop Culture Curator. You got your setup going on there?
Yes.
Nice.
So, Jill, I see you have I see you have a Trill avatar.
Yeah, I do. I do have Trill. Well, because somebody made me a Vorta one, from the Dominion, and I asked him if he could take that and make it Trill, and he did.
I want to see the Trill one.
I'm a Trill right now.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was your Vulcan one. I can't see.
Yeah, she's got leopard spots on her neck, so she's a Trill.
So
here,
now
this is the Vulcan one.
That's the Vulcan one.
Yeah. Now I got a question. Do the spots go all the way down?
To your probably.
To the feet. Oh, come on! Don't tell me you don't.
You know what? I think Jadzia Dax said yes.
Yeah. No, I know for a fact she said all the way, because I know that for a fact. You know how I do? Because what's his name? Orange River. Yes. Whenever he mentions Jadzia, he'll play out. He'll quickly do all the way.
That's a clip he loves. That's cool.
Hey, hey Jill. your current avatar with the Vulcan avatar, were you at a convention cosplaying?
I was
Cool.
cosplaying. Yeah.
Excellent.
It was pretty excellent. I enjoyed it, and
Well, you
I
gotta do the
actually was
birds
trying.
one.
I was trying to
Eh.
get my son to be a Vulcan. He looked like an even better Vulcan than I did, but he
Oh,
was
really?
little, and he was like, "No." He was like, "No, get this off of me." And so,
Yeah.
so I had to take, I had to take the ears off of my son.
No, when you do the excellent there, you gotta go excellent.
Like Mr. Bird.
Excellent.
Like Mr. Birds. Excellent.
Excellent.
Oh,
Oh, and speaking of Star Trek, did any of you seen the DS9 episode where they actually did a sexy female Vorta in one episode and during the Dominion War? And that one episode I'm thinking of, if you guys haven't seen that episode.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person here.
Right.
I'm not a DS9 fan.
I
just
don't remember any. I don't remember any Vortas that were specifically sexy.
Hmm.
Hello to Daniel's Hot Topics.
Yeah, welcome, Daniels. How's it going,
Hey,
man?
Daniel.
Well, I think it's the episode during the Dominion War arc where they're finding the Jemadar, and inside the ship they're in, there's a founder that's hiding it on the ship, and the Vorta and the Jemadar are fighting for control of that ship, and then the Vorta that's facing them,
I know what
there's
you're talking about now.
there's a sexy female actress that plays the Vorta female.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree with you. She was,
Oh,
she
is
was
that?
nice.
Are you talking about the? Was it? No, not Starship Down. The Jemadar ship crashed on the planet, and they were trying. There's a founder on the ship.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly which one you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. That was a good episode there.
It was called The Ship. That's why I can't remember, because it's such a generic name.
Oh, I thought I was thinking Starship Down for a second, but no, that's the one where the Defiant crashed on that planet and went back 200 years. And then
What season is the ship episode from?
season it had to been season 3, no, or season 4, because
Okay.
season 5 is at the start of the war.
Which episode are you trying to get information on, Stone Dragon? Which episode?
Yes,
The
that's
sh-
right.
the-
Season 5.
Season 5. Okay, got it. Yeah, the Starship Down is in season 4. Okay, it's the second episode. I want to see this hot chick that you're talking about.
I think the Dominion War arc started season 6. I think it did. Or was it? Or
Well,
was the?
I kind of liked her personality more. Like she was interesting. She was a little different from a normal Vorta.
Well, she was the one. She was trying. She thought she was a better manipulator than she was.
Yeah, I didn't get past the first year with DS9, so
Oh, I love DS9. It's my favorite. We're actually watching it on my channel at the moment. We're gonna be going on to episode 7 and 8, I think it is. It's just something like that. No, wait. Hear that 5 or 6.
I see Matt G is calling you, Jill, in the chat.
Oh, Jill, can you read this one?
Oh, Matt G. Matt G.
Hey, Matt G.
Hi. Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and Doctor Who, and the rest of the terrible things that are coming out.
The rest of Gilligan's Isle. Dale says she was nice to look at the female Vorta, and season 4 was the start of. No. The official start of the Dominion War was a call to arms at the very end of season 5. Season 4 and most of season 5 is what you could call a Cold War.
Yeah, all that drama with the Cardassians, the Canadians. Why was I going to say
Yeah, yeah. See, Jill's going after the only Canadian on the panel. All right, Daniel says Taylor Swift
also,
is
hi,
better
Pete.
than nothing.
Well, since nobody believes Peter Benchley wrote the screenplay, I mean, he did. His name is first in the bloody main titles of the film. If you ever want to check it out, guys. So I'm not making it up.
Stone Racket. I got the actress name that played the Vorta in the YouTube comments if you want to get a better search option for her.
Toby Hooper was noted as being director of Poltergeist, but everybody knows it was really Steven Spielberg. So you can never know by the credits. The credits are what was contractually binding when the movie
That's
was
exactly
made.
right. That was my point.
Mean that person did the work.
Yeah. Thank you, Pop. I mean, it may say something in the credits, but it's like, did he really contribute to the brilliant screenplay? Because his novel is trash. That was my point was. But thank you, Pop.
I just don't like being totally disrespected when I bring up something.
You weren't disrespected. You just disagreed. And I asked it. I said, can we just drop it? And agreed to disagree.
Well, other people went talking on about the film after I was going to drop it, but whatever.
I said that, but wait a minute. I didn't say stop talking about the movie. I said, let's stop talking about who the writer is. You're the only one that got upset about that and took it personally. So can we drop it that? Please, let's drop it. It's nothing personal against anybody. It's a very simple misunderstanding. I'd rather be friends and everybody get along than to disagree about something that's small and petty. If that's okay.
Hey, PvP, guess what I got all the way from Australia earlier this week?
I have no idea.
A kangaroo?
There's an Australian Blu-ray boutique label called Imprint, and they've been releasing a lot of really nice box sets of television shows and British television shows. And the latest one I got on Tuesday was The Prisoner.
Is that what's the frame rate on that? Is that like North American frame rate or overseas?
Even though in Australia it's normally a region 2, the Imprint boutique label, their Blu-rays are all region 3.
That's good, because I know the Blu-rays generally are a much better choice, because I've seen overseas, like European, where I've seen European episodes where the frame rate is like a different frame rate than our North American frame rate, Stone Racket. And for me, it really hurts the episodes because they're like 2 minutes less or something. Like they're really going fast by comparison to my ears.
Their system is called PAL.
Yeah, we have NTSC or whatever.
Yeah, which was sarcastically called "Never the Same Color."
No, I'm aware.
Back in the day, but
I know it was PAL. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm very happy that Blu-ray generally avoids that issue, right, Stone Racket? Yeah. And it's like worldwide, the original frame rate to the original shows as they were made.
And then with 4K, there is no regions. It's everything that's on 4K can be played anywhere, which
that's good.
Which I think is what it should have been from the get-go with Blu-ray and DVD. But
I always thought the region stuff was a bit crazy, actually.
Yeah, another box set from Imprint that I got earlier a couple years ago was, of course, the M Appeal episodes of the Avengers.
Yeah,
which was, and they only release 1,500 of these box sets.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's in a nice solid box, and it comes with a collectible booklet and some stills and that kind of thing.
It's nice.
Yeah,
Wow,
but
that sounds
So
very,
that's
very rare.
cool.
yeah, it's
That's all I've seen from Avengers is the M appeal.
well that yeah, it's unfortunately with Honor Blackman, it was on videotape, and Honor Blackman was saying, "Why aren't we filming this?" You know, she wanted it on film, but it's on video, and it's like watching an old kinescope, you know, from here on this side of the pond. If you've ever seen the old kinescopes from the 50s.
Yeah, big before
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
A&E
it's
used to show them in the U.S. I remember back, I think
yeah,
in the 90s.
in the 90s. That's how I first saw them.
I used to actually record those on my old VHS
Yep, same
recorder
here.
because I loved them so much. But
Yeah.
it's very grainy. Like the video is very grainy
Well,
compared to the film quality.
what's
right?
alarming? What's alarming on these old Avengers episodes with Honor Blackman is in the middle of the taping on one of the episodes that they showed on A&E, they literally, the camera operator switched the lens on the television camera, and of course back then it was a rotary type, and it was just, why are you doing what? It's like it was on live TV or something, and it's just it's a shame. But yeah, I know with the early Doctor Who episodes with William Hartnell, they've done some wonders with those, and I just wish they would do the same with the Honor Blackman episodes of the Avengers. I wish they would go through and restore them like they have with the early Doctor Who episodes.
Well, wasn't Honor in seasons 2 and 3, and then Emma started in series 4, I believe.
Excuse me, I had a coughing fit there.
Oh, no worries. I think Honor Blackman was in the second and third series, was she not, Stone Rocket?
Yeah, she wasn't in the first season, which was a totally different show.
Oh, that was a Dr. David Peel.
Yeah, it was
Steve's buddy.
Yeah, and it was like, and Steed was kind of like, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? He was kind of
I
like,
remember early on, Steve
Yeah.
was like this really shady, kind of sleazy
shady
guy almost, right?
Yeah, and so
That's kind of neat.
the
there's only like 3 episodes of season 1 that still survive though, Jill, sadly, because
Yeah.
the tapes got wiped, eh?
God, the BBC is really good at destroying
Good
their
old
own stuff.
BBC, yeah.
Yep. Hey, you know, when no one's gonna care, let's just reuse this videotape.
That's right.
like-
There's no such thing as VHS or DVDs in the future, so what the heck?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm kind of ticked that they didn't save some of their early, even before Doctor Who, some of their early sci-fi, like with Julie Christie. Have you ever heard of A for Andromeda?
I have, and there's maybe a couple episodes.
I
that
think
survive?
only a couple episodes survive, and it's like,
I have heard of that show. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have heard of that, Stone Rocket. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a shame.
But the most important thing though, and the best episodes are the ones with Diana Rigg as Emma Peel.
Oh yeah, that's a standout. Like those 50 episodes are just a treasure. You know, like they're so perfect.
They had such good chemistry, and that makes the show, even though some of the episodes are pretty dopey because of the Batman effect, but
There's
it's still fun. What were you going to say, Dan?
Pieces just keep saying that, but I don't see it. I still like it. So
Well, Jill, we've been watching. We haven't watched Avengers in a month now, Jill. So hopefully we can get back to that soon. But you know, I actually convinced Jill to watch the Avengers.
we can watch it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Have you,
I'm hoping.
Jill, have you seen the Emma Peel, any of the episodes in color?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
what did you think of
I
the
like those
wing?
too.
What did you think of the winged Avenger?
That was cool. The comic book kind of one.
Yeah, that's that's not one of my favorites, but that's the Batman effect.
It's kind of funny.
And then
I thought it was hilarious. I loved how
Okay.
the claws come at the screen.
The thing
Yeah.
is, they were
Okay, well, I'm
mocking
glad you had
Batman.
fun
It
with
makes-
it. I'm
makes me
glad you had
laugh.
fun with it.
Maybe I
PvP.
was making fun of it, but I
Yeah.
liked it.
PvP. What's the name of the episode that? Oh, it's the Hidden Tiger. That's it. I just remembered it with the one
Yeah,
with the putty
right.
tats and the little electronic thing in their
Very
collar that makes them
vicious,
savage tigers. you know?
vicious putty tats. I gotta say.
Have you seen that one, Jill? The Hidden Tiger?
Have I seen that one?
Yeah.
You
I
have.
I think I
You
have. But you
Yeah.
know what? I mix it up with the same one that Man from Uncle also did one, just like that.
Oh,
Well, thing is, the thing is, me and Jill have been watching Avengers. Gosh, this has been like a year now, Jill. I lose track after a while.
Mhm.
But we're down to like the final 12 Emma episodes, I
oh,
think,
okay.
if I remember correctly, because we've gone through most of them. And so yeah, we've seen Hidden Tiger. Even if
Yeah.
Jill doesn't remember, we did see it.
Yeah,
So-
that was a fun
I
show.
definitely remember
Fun
something
show to
about
grow
cats.
up with because I had a huge crush on Diana Rigg when I was a wee lad.
She's
Me too.
gorgeous.
Well, she's
You know,
And
as a child, I got impatient when the story switched to John Steed. I was like, no, I want to get back to the cool person, Emma Peel.
I liked him too. He was important.
Yeah, he's cool.
They were a good team.
Oh
were a
yeah,
good team,
their
yeah.
chemistry. Watching it as I was, when I was older in the '90s when A&E repeated it, especially, I loved the chemistry between the two.
Well, my introduction to Diana Riggs was actually when she was elderly, when she was playing the character on Game of Thrones. The one of the
Did you ever
Tyrells.
did you ever see her in the PBS Mystery when she used to host that?
PBS Mystery.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
used to
she
watch
actually
PBS a lot when I was a kid.
appeared. She actually appeared in some of the productions on PBS Mystery.
It depends on when if that got rerun in the 90s. If it did, I probably did.
Yeah, in the she took over as host when Vincent Price passed away. Because Vincent Price was the original host of the
that would have
PBS
been
Mystery.
early
Oh,
90s.
hold on
I'm
just a second.
guessing.
I gotta go.
Yeah, sometime in there in the early '90s when
Didn't
Diana Rigg.
Vincent's last movie was Edward Scissorhands around 1990 or something?
92,
Yeah.
91, 92, something like.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I think
guessing
so.
She would have stepped in sometime in the early 90s, and I'm guessing Stone Rocket.
Yeah.
Well, as I was trying to say, Stone Racket, if you want to check the private chat, I sent a link to a certain website that has the character I'm talking about from DS9. If you're not doing the research of the DS9 still.
Well, what pictures I saw, I wasn't impressed. I don't. Does she have pointed ears and spots?
No.
Okay,
No,
then
she has spots, but I don't think she has any weird ears at all.
weird ears. Yeah,
No, if you're talking about Vorta, they have weird ears.
yeah. Well, this shot that you linked me to is some cleavage. Yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
And you probably wonder why I like her then.
Well,
Well,
you're like me, sci-fi Sith Dan, and the other males on the panel. I'm sure we're all toxic.
Well, if you're talking Dax, was the one with the spots on.
Oh
her
no,
thighs.
it's a different character. It's a guest star.
Oh, okay.
It's a guest star. It's in the private
Okay.
chat. The link's in the private chat if you want to click on that and look at the quick picture.
Okay, I'll take a quick look, and yeah, that's a Vorta. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a different character.
Yeah, radio.
She doesn't
I mean,
have spots either. If you notice, no spots.
Okay, I must have seen something else then on the Internet Movie Database then.
Yeah, well, I was just letting Stone Racket know what type of Vorta female character I was talking about and why.
Radio.
Why she left an impression on me, and you probably know why.
Gosh. I can think of two reasons. No.
Oh, please.
I just looked
sorry.
at that picture. What's the name of the species supposed to be?
Vorta.
God damn, that's serious. Star Trek got to where it just repeated itself over and over. That's a Vulcan. I don't care what anybody wants to call her. How many different names? I hate the makeup.
It is
My God, I hate
it is kind of creative because it is the Vorta are genetically manipulated. They were actually kind of like monkey creatures, but they were turned into the way you see them now in that picture
I'm
because
talking
of
about.
the changelings.
I'm talking about the makeup. My God, fire the Westmores and burn their studio down, and they never work again.
Yeah, and also
Okay.
Vorta.
I'm
That's
not
too much
talking
like
about how I'm not talking about
Vorta.
how
That's
the aliens are written or the background of the aliens. I'm talking about specifically, directly the makeup.
yeah. With me, Vorta is too much like Horta.
That too.
Yeah, from the She-Ra series.
Oh my goodness, Jill is now a Vorta and she's glowing.
Vortas are not silicon-based
She-Ra?
creatures.
Now, Jill, is that an actual cosplay that you did?
No, this one's not a real. This is not a cosplay. This is
Just a manipulated
just
image?
a manipulated image of my original photo,
Yeah.
which is this.
I like that photo. Well, I like all your avatars, but the one where you're the Vorta, you're glowing.
Jill has nice avatars.
Yeah, she does.
Sit down. What is your reference to a Horta being from She-Ra?
I seen the show She-Ra, the Princess of Power, the old one in the 80s.
All right, and
It was a it was an all right show.
no, I'm not talking about the show. Horta. Where'd you get that reference from?
No, Vorta with the V as in Victor.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
and
sorry.
Store Record was making a little spelling joke. It's spelled similar to the Horta in the She-Ra universe. Similar.
Oh,
Were you?
okay.
Were you?
I
or
wasn't
not?
I wasn't referencing She-Ra, but so they have a
Now you see, I
Horta.
was confused.
They have a Horta in the She-Ra universe. Are you saying, or what? What was that?
Well, the name sounds similar. I think it's called
Oh,
the Horde or Horta. I think it's called in the She-Ra TV show, the 80s one.
That's what I was saying. I was like, what?
oh, okay, gotcha. My mistake.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
we were talking.
I may be I may be young, but I've seen old cartoon TV shows from the 80s. He-Man and She-Ra, I've seen those.
Well, that's nothing in my
Excuse me.
book. What do you think of them apples? No, have you seen the original Johnny Quest from 1964? Stan?
No, sadly I haven't.
Oh, you gotta see that. It's the greatest cartoon ever made.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I love that as a kid. That was 1964. It was basically James Bond for kids in a way.
Yeah, but it was
That's what the
almost
Avengers were.
I'm sorry, the Avengers.
true. Yeah, you're
It's
right. That was true.
yeah, the Avengers actually predate Bond as far as the movies. And so does Danger Man with Patrick McGowan.
Can you read this for me, please?
Stone Racket. I really can't say the actress's name. If someone wants to help me with her name right here.
Caitlin
Caitlin Hopkins.
Caitlin Hopkins is the
It's
name
the
of
name of the actress. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and that scene.
Yeah, that's the
where-
name
in
of the
that
Vorta. Yeah,
Yeah.
the name of the Vorta in the Space 9 episode called The Ship.
Somebody
The
help me
ship.
out with her. Somebody help me out with her saying.
Yeah, Herc 130 says, "Wow, I go out for a minute, and Dan and Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and
Oh.
MCU, and Doctor Who shows up."
Oh God, I'm glad you deciphered that. I wasn't able to.
Daniel's hot topics. I love Doctor Who, especially the Tom Baker episodes. Well,
Well, get up here, Daniel.
I'm with you there because I love the Tom Baker episodes, and Tom Baker's my favorite Doctor, followed by John Pertwee. Oh, Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and Doctor Who. He's laughing it up. He's having a good time.
That's right. And
And
who would like to read this?
Herc 130 says, "Okay, I have a story. My best friend in high school was Bill Hedberg. His grandpa was Hollis Hedberg. Look up the name. He had elements of Indiana Jones. He was a professor at Princeton. His next door neighbor. Well, what's the next one? I guess it's part 1 of 2.
Hold on.
How many fingers am I serving up?
Oh, sorry about that. But
Looks
that
like
was in
he's
order.
his neighbor was Peter Benchley, who would go over and feed his parrots. He had a bowl of shark teeth on a stand. You could take one if you visited. That was in 1982.
Very cool. Who would like to read this?
Edge of Time says, "Rest in peace, Blu-ray." What?
Are you
I
sure
think
about that?
I think the stories of the demise of hard media have been greatly exaggerated.
I
Edge of
think
Time.
so too. Unless there's a hard media that's going to replace
Yeah.
Blu-ray, I don't
Yeah.
think it's going anywhere.
Edge of
Yeah.
Time. Edge of Time says, "Love Benchley." Which one? Robert or Peter?
And I'm not sure who this is. Okay. Tanscopy?
Not sure. What?
And
Edge
who
of
else?
Time? What? Here, that's them's fighting words. Edge of Time.
There's a lot of people on YouTube this week that have been posting "Rest in peace," DVD, Blu-ray, any kind of hard media. I ain't buying into it. I'm sorry, guys.
No.
I'm a skeptic when it comes to that kind of, sky is falling. The
I
sky
guess
is
the
Well,
only way
falling.
it's true is if the production companies themselves decide to stop making
Yeah,
them.
I don't think it's going to happen in the near future. I mean,
Hey,
Yeah,
as a-
especially
as a-
with streaming is failing.
yeah, exactly, Pop. Like I've heard streaming is like just failing bad the last 6 months or whatever. So
I
I
had to
don't see
ask
the demise.
Edge of Time says good riddance. And like he's Tori, what is it you prefer over Blu-ray? What are you hoping is the new future Edge of Time? Who would like to read this? Jill, can you read it for me?
Edge of Time says, "I'll show you, Dopey," and Sneezy,
Oh, I was muted here,
and
but
Sleepy.
4K is coming out, and you got a bot in Twitch right now.
Yeah,
That's
that's all
okay,
Twitch is
just
good for
ignore
these
it.
days is bots.
Just ignore it.
I don't get any views on Twitch.
Gorilla, would you like to read this for me?
Crouching alley cats boxing kangaroos. What has re-entertainment become? I don't know what this. Hey,
Hakeem
Hakeem.
says, bring back VHS. LOL. Hi, everyone. Hello, Hakeem.
VHS. There are some people who do collect VHS, and I don't understand it. It's so
I
funny.
still
is
have
true.
VHS.
I got
that
VHSs.
I still have
I think-
VHS.
Well,
tape.
yeah, but
I think that they're thinking it's like vinyl is going to have a comeback, but I really doubt it.
thing
Actually,
is that
vinyl-
VHS doesn't last. It's just gonna degrade.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Vinyl's
And the
actually
picture quality is horrible.
Vinyl's actually has had pretty good sales. I hear in the last year, Pop. Believe it or
It's
not.
top CD sales, I've heard.
Yeah, it's actually the predominant hard copy for music now has become vinyl
Uh-huh.
in the last year, which I find amazing. But hey, never say never, right?
That's right.
Pops, I'm going to have to leave pretty soon or do some business elsewhere. So if you will
Tell us
allow
about
it,
your
I'm gonna,
channel.
Oh yeah, I gotta go too. Guys.
all right. Well, to all to your panelists and viewers and chatters.
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you, Stone Racket, if you had a picture of your cat with the prisoner, but I thought, nah, it's too early. But you do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's Chico with that box set I was telling you about from Australia.
That's nice. That's a
Nice.
nice set. I've
And,
never seen that one.
Yeah, this is straight from Australia. This is the parcel that I got Tuesday. And
Very cool.
there's Chico. I am not a number. I am a free cat. And Harpo says, "Me too." And that's a closer picture of the box set and the back.
Looks nice.
And you get 5 episodes of Danger Man on Blu-ray, along with the full Prisoner, with a whole
Interesting.
mess load of extras. So I highly recommend this.
I
And
have a question.
the real quick here, there was a sale at Kino Lorber, which is a boutique Blu-ray label, and this is my first order, 16 Blu-rays and 4K, and my second order, and my third order, and my fourth order. So Blu-rays are here with Kino Lorber.
And Shout
this is
Factory, among others.
Yeah, and Shout Factory, yeah, and Arrow Video. My friend over across the pond, over there in Great Britain, he recently visited Wales with his wife and the Port Marion Hotel, which of course is the filming location for The Prisoner in the Village. And he got these souvenir booklets for me. And I also got that on Tuesday. And then that middle pamphlet is a map to the Port Marion. And here it is, folded out.
So
Dude,
we
people
still
go on
have the map.
vacation. People have to go on vacation there.
Yeah, I wanna visit. And then that's my parcel inspectors. That's the 4 parcels I got delivered on Friday. Yesterday.
That Port Marion map looks kind of similar to what was in the series, isn't it?
It's like
That's kinda cool.
well, it's basically it's your village. You remember the map? It's like,
Oh, I remember the map.
Yeah.
Yes.
now that particular map from the actual series, I would like to get with the Prisoner font. You know, the special font that they used for the
So
series.
it's not an actual replica then, unfortunately.
No,
This
this is
so cool. I want to see it some more later, but I think
Yeah,
I have to go.
okay. All
So I'm
right.
There
going
you
to talk
go.
to you guys later.
You have a good night there, Jill.
Good night, guys.
All right.
Good night.
See ya.
Oh,
Good night.
Bring back VHS, says Hakeem. I actually still have a VHS deck, and I have VHS tapes here and there, and even super VHS tapes. Anybody ever have the super VHS format?
Not me. I just had regular.
Yeah, the super VHS at the fast speed, you got pretty close to what a laser disc would hold. I actually don't tell anyone, but the deck that I bought, the dealer also had laser discs, and I brought in a super VHS tape, and I asked them to dub a copy of their laser disc of Terminator 2. So I had that on super VHS, and it was like watching the laser disc. It was
Cool.
Yeah,
that good.
I dabbled with Super VHS for a time myself.
Uh-huh.
It was better than VHS, and it was a little pricier, but
Yeah.
it didn't last.
No, it didn't. And the deck that I have, it's a Philips, and it does not record in super VHS, but you can play back super VHS tapes. So at least I have that.
That does.
You know, well, I have a bunch of super VHS tapes still. Have you heard of the film The Jokers with Oliver Reed and the actor that was the original Phantom and the musical Phantom of the Opera? What was his name?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, with The Jokers is a British film from '67.
Okay.
I have that on super VHS, and there's a rights conflict. That's why that has been released on Blu-ray. And so at least, you know, that's one thing I can claim. I taped it off of Cinemax, I believe. back in the day.
That's a nice thing. I used to record stuff off the movie channels in the 80s
Yeah.
because I got a lot of great films, and they'd show them uncut, which was awesome. And I still have a lot of those. I've got a lot. Actually, I preferred the Betamax because I've still got some Betamax tapes that I just transferred some, like I think about 5 or 6 years ago, because I still have a really good one of those direct drive Betamaxes. There's no belts; it's just like a motor right in the spindles, so
Yeah.
there's nothing that's going to deteriorate, right? So it still works like a gem. And amazingly, I've got like 80s, you know, Betamax tapes that look amazing. Like still, I mean, they might not be DVD quality quite, but they look good enough to watch. Let's put it that way. So,
That
Good
when you
night.
said
Good night,
direct
Sci-Fi Sit Dan. He was trying to say goodbye.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Goodbye, sci-fi sit then. I'm sorry.
yep. Bye,
It's
Dan.
okay.
He and Jill blinked out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
uh-oh. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, go
I was
ahead,
gonna
PvP.
I was gonna ask PvP about, you said a direct drive.
Yeah.
I with the only with VHS, what I'm familiar with is that
No, this is beta.
those yeah, I know. I'm talking about my familiarity with
Oh,
VHS.
okay. Yeah.
With it would the belts and whatnot, it would be involve the pulling the tape out of the cassette and wrapping it around the drum.
Right.
And I was wondering, isn't there an equivalent with Betamax?
Well, the
Similar.
one I've got, there's it's all direct drive. Like there's no belts as far as I don't think.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
yeah.
I'm not familiar with the mechanism
Well, both
of.
wheels have like a motor under them. Both
Oh yeah,
like
I understand
spindles.
that, but I'm talking about
Um,
what pulls the tape out and wraps it around the head.
yeah, I'm not sure about
If it
that.
does that in the Betamax
I mean, it's
model.
like an 80s machine, and it
Uh-huh.
still seemed to be pulling the tape in fine. So,
Yeah, the first home video system that I saw at a store was a really pricey Betamax,
oh, yes, me
and
not.
it was actually a piece of furniture. I mean, it was a big kind of console, and I was like, oh man,
Wow,
there's
that
no
must
way
have
I
been.
can afford that.
Was
And
that like late 70s?
no, that was
That's
76, 77.
Really, that
big
early?
old,
Wow.
Yep.
it had the big old piano keys.
Yeah.
My first Betamax had piano keys. It was built like a
Yeah.
tank, but it was
Yeah.
a wonderful machine. It was a solid beauty. It was like, mwah, mwah, mwah. It was a great machine.
I had my first VCR was of course VHS, but it was a Selectavision. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of it real quick.
Oh
There
my,
it is.
Selectavision! Isn't that even before
That's
VHS?
before VHS. It is VHS. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
that
I
it's
always thought
just
it was a different system. Hmm.
no, you're thinking of those the RCA Selectavision discs, the disc
Yeah, I'm thinking
player.
of something different, but I know there were tape systems before, like even back I think to the '60s, but of course they never took off at all.
Yeah, the only one I'm familiar with is the Sony
It could be a disc. Yeah,
U-matic
it could be discs. Yeah,
3/4 inch, but
I lose track. I mean, there's so. You know what's crazy is the formats. Like, how many dozens of formats have we had over the last 50 or 60 years? It's totally insane.
This
You
is
get it
Sci-Fi.
on vinyl, you get it on cassette, you get it on 8-track, you get it on whatever, and then it's obsolete, and then you got to buy the next format, right? It's crazy after a while.
I wanted to
Right.
say goodnight to Sci-Fi Sit Dan. He says, I'm in a hurry to forget my self-promote. I want to do it next unless one of you can help me in my self-promotion. Well, check
Oh,
out Sci-Fi Sit Dan's channel, everybody. He's a big Star Wars fan, casual Star Trek fan, and he also likes crossovers among different franchises. So
Yeah.
check him out if you
Well,
ever get the chance.
yeah, he likes to do take two franchises and do like a crossover story with, and he uses AI art to help him tell the story there. And then he also does those occasional live streams. He's doing a Transformer watch parties.
Thank you, Gorilla.
Yeah.
Hey, Hakeem says Herc 130. And Taylor Swift says bring back Laserdisc, LOL. At the time, since DVD was sufficient, Blu-ray was a weird flex. And Hakeem says hello, Herc 130. At the time, since Sony said no more discs, including Blu-ray.
I've heard that story's not accurate though, because who do you believe, right?
Well, we'll see what happens in the future here. Hakeem says, hey, at the time, to be honest, I miss my CDs, says Hakeem. I have over 60 in perfect condition. And hello, Jim's Landscape. Jim says hello.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah,
Hey,
Hedge
Jim.
of Time says, oh, you're doing well, Jim. Hedge of Time says CDs and DVDs rot over time. Eventually they do. That's what I've heard.
I've heard that story, but I don't believe it's always true because I have hundreds of CDs and DVDs that'll still play fine. So, you know, it
Hey,
may be
Jim.
at times, but
Go
I don't
ahead.
believe it is. I don't believe it's, one or the other, right? It's like,
I mean, there's been some runs of like Warner had some DVDs run by a particular pressing plant back in the day that was notorious for digital rot. But I've got the my first DVD, the first release of Creature from the Black Lagoon on DVD. That still plays fine, and that's from 2000.
yeah.
So
Oh,
I
I've
think
okay,
it's
got
yeah.
like you're
I've
saying.
got plenty of old DVDs that still play just fine. So
I think it depends on the manufacturer, really,
exactly,
Stone Rocket, because
yeah,
I've got hundreds and hundreds of great albums I love on CD on my shelves down the hall here, and probably just as many DVDs. And I don't know, I've never noticed a problem with them so far. So fingers
yeah.
crossed. Eh?
Hey, Pop, I found that picture of the Selectavision. If you
Oh
want to
wow.
share the
RCA,
screen.
I
Oh
remember
geez.
that name.
Yep,
I remember that
RCA
name.
Selectavision. I bought one in October of '79, and this is
Jeez.
what my machine looked like.
Oh,
Yep.
that's gorgeous.
That
The
was
VT
it
800.
only had you could only it had two speeds, 2 hour and 4 hour.
Yes, the
And
VT a
and
monster.
the little panel that's now this is not my picture. This is something I found on the internet.
Yeah,
But little panel that's popped up to the and it looks like it's kind of holding up these little instruction cards.
yeah. That's
But
the tuner.
that's where you would program. And one thing that was neat about this particular model that no other subsequent model had was if you were recording something and you were away, but you came back and you realized, there was a delay. The president talked for 15 minutes or something. You could actually, while it's still recording, you could adjust the stop time of your recording while the machine was still recording the program.
No, that's state of the art.
Yeah, and it was a little toggle switch on the far left, and you would add time to your the timer for it to shut off in case you found out that there was a programming delay.
Right.
And the next RCA Selectavision deck that I got that had the 2, 4, and 6 hour didn't have that feature, and I'm like, oh,
I was
Don't you
that
hate
bad.
that when
yeah,
they
because
take
there were
features
times,
away?
yeah, there was times where I was away and there was a delay, and I couldn't do anything. I had to hope there was a commercial where I could start the tape up again, or that kind of thing. But
Right.
Yeah,
but that was
I hate it when they
really
take
cool.
good features away. Like it happens all the time in tech, right? They'll have a really great feature, whether it's these machines or even computers. Like they'll have a great feature, and then they'll go, "Oh well, we don't need to have that," and they take it away. I'm like, you're like, what? Why'd you do that, guys?
And yet you're paying the same.
Or even more.
Right.
Now
Herb,
this
go ahead.
deck came with a little remote that was connected. There was
Wired.
a wire. It was, yes, that's what I was
Yep,
trying to think.
that's what I
Wired
had.
remote,
Yeah,
and for pausing while if you're recording live and you want to pause for the commercials, it had a little wired remote that you could. That's all it did was just pause your machine.
yeah. I'd have a little tiny button. You'd press it real quick. I was really good at editing. I'd push
Yeah.
it so quick, and then I'd anticipate and I'd start. And my
Well,
edits were actually really good back then.
well, with this deck, the edits were noisy, but
Oh,
my second deck that I bought in '81 was also a Selectavision. It was the 2 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour. It had a flying erase head, which
that's the thing.
made the edits clean,
Yeah,
and so that was a big boost. And I did a lot of editing on that deck.
yeah.
But I
Flying erase
don't
head.
have a picture of that. But that's what I thought was really cool.
You brought back amazing memories there.
That's why I bought that deck in '81, because it not only did it have the 6 hour speed, but it had the flying erase head.
That was
And
my first Betamax in 1980. I think it was 81. It had the flying erase head with great editing.
yeah,
Beautiful machine, very similar looking to this with the great, awesomely heavy duty piano keys.
yeah,
The machine was built like a tank. I
yeah. It
love
was,
that. I
yeah,
wish I never got rid of it now because it was beautiful. And I
yeah.
bought that, okay, I'll give you the timeline. I bought it, I think, about a week it was either a week before or a week after they tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan, if you
Oh
guys
dear.
remember that.
Yeah,
So it's like 1980, 81. I mean, I can't believe, I can't remember the exact
I
date,
think
but
it was in the first quarter of '81.
something like that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's when I got my very first home recording machine. Thanks to
yeah,
Ronald Reagan, I still remember.
yeah, yeah. This machine, like your Betamax, was built like a tank, and
Oh, yeah.
those switches, even the piano key, but those things were solid and they would not wear out.
Oh, yeah.
Those things were incredible.
Yeah,
Herb,
I guess it would be the belts that would wear out first in that, wouldn't it?
Right. And there was a RCA authorized service center just a half hour away in Des Moines. And whenever I would go down to see a movie, like this, Star Wars movies and Indiana Jones and all that, occasionally I would go down with my friends and I'd take my deck, drop it off at the service center, spend the afternoon going to the movies, and then come back to the service center to pick up my machine because it would be fully cleaned and the belts checked
nice.
and that kind of thing.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Herb says, "Hey Jim, Landscape Commodore Productions, how's the doggy doing? Worried about the guy." Taylor Swift says, "I'm gonna get some 4K disc and see if I can get him copied to VHS on SLP speed. LOL. Going to look unbelievable. Yeah, it sure would be unbelievable."
Holy unbelievable.
That is the best trolling comment I have seen in
And
many
and
months.
the thing is, Matt G, of course, he has a projector, and he'll project it on his 120-inch screen.
Yeah, project that SLP quality VHS
yeah.
onto a large screen. That would be
480p on a 480p
amazing.
projector, right?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Jim says hello to everybody.
Hi, Jim.
And
Hey,
Daniel says, yesterday I was talking to Scogli, and we found out the worldwide debt and it's $307 trillion. Hey, who cares as long as they don't have to pay it off, right?
That's the thing. It's abstraction, right? It's like it doesn't matter how big the debt gets because we
They
still
keep
keep
raising
doing
the
our
ceiling.
well, we still keep doing what we do every year, right? Like the
Exactly.
sky hasn't fallen yet, so
Akeem says hello, Jim.
Yeah,
I can't believe I actually caught up on the chat.
Yay.
Yeah. And where's Grill? Grill's having to smoke and a drink. It looks like Grill.
I think he's still with us.
Hey, I'm not drinking.
Well, you got your drink in your hand there. I see it. Come on.
You got me. Take your
No,
way off.
I didn't think you admitted that easily, but okay.
we were earlier. We were talking about the Avengers, and John Steed had a bowler hat, and I see Gorilla has a bowler hat too. Can you knock people out with your bowler hat like John Steed?
I'll just kick him in the nuts first.
Yeah, John
Hey,
Steed.
I'll fight anybody, but I won't fight fairly. I'll tell you that right now.
There you go.
I'll fight anybody, but I won't fight fairly.
See, that's one thing John Steed never did was kick people in the nuts. He was too much of an English gentleman. He just, I loved his bowler hat because it was like steel reinforced.
Steel reinforced, so you could bop him on the head.
Conk you on the head, and you'd be done. Like, yeah, it was great.
Hey, I fight to win, so.
And of course, Steed had his sword and his umbrella.
Yes, I had to point that out to you, Joe, when we started watching the series, because it's in the color.
Right. In that great opening where he uses it. He uses it to throw a flower to Emma.
Yeah. And Jill's like, "What? Really? What?" I'm like, "Yeah, Jill, you got to watch it. Pay attention."
Yeah. Now I think it's a carnation, and she ends up putting it on his lapel anyway.
She puts it on his lapel, and they have this big smile. He's got that big smile, and oh, they're so great. They're so great together. Yeah. I don't know. I hope Jill's not too sad when we finish because we only got like 12 episodes left. Like we're going to be done in a couple of months. It's like, oh man. But are you gonna
watch the next series with Linda Thorson?
Well,
or not?
Don't think Jill probably.
Okay.
I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. There's that crossover episode, the Forget Me Not,
right?
Where Emma and Linda meet each other on the stairway,
right.
And Emma tells, Steve likes his tea stirred counterclockwise or whatever
right.
the thing was, right?
Yeah, whatever.
I'm going to insist Jill watches that one because it's like, well, that's such a key sequence because Emma and Steed have their final moment in Steed's apartment, and I think she's even kisses him on the cheek or something, and it's really sweet. And then we realize that her hubby's driven up in the car, and he's picking Emma up because he was found alive and all that stuff.
Yeah,
which is great. And then they do the crossover scene on the stairway, and I'm going to suggest to Jill that she's got to see that sequence at least. But I'm going to try to get her to watch the entire episode, and because I want to get her feedback. It's like, okay, Jill, give me your first impressions of the different vibe with the Linda Thorson character, because I definitely think there's a very different vibe with her and Steed. So
yeah, it's much more. They've got a boss to report to named Mother.
Mother.
It's like, it's not M, it's Mother.
It's like I rolled my eyes every time.
It's that rotund guy. But but I remember watching those when it was brand new on ABC.
Right, me too.
And it was just totally different show. I really missed Diana Rigg.
Yeah, I think the quality decreased. Even though some of the same writers were writing the episodes, and maybe some of the same directors, I just thought the quality just went quite a bit downhill. There were still some good episodes, like there were some very good episodes, but overall, I thought the inconsistency of the Thorson ones, I watched them, but I didn't think they were anywhere up to the level of the Emma Peel episodes.
A&E. Back in the day, this is.
I'll be right back. I gotta go yell at the neighbor's dog.
Okay.
This is before Blu-ray. A&E put out a DVD set, which I got, which was, I believe, it's called "The Best of the Avengers," and it has 2 episodes of Honor Blackman as Kathy Gale, and it has 2 episodes Emma Peel, and 2 episodes of Linda Thorson. And one of the reasons I got it, not only for the Kathy Gale episodes, but it was the only way you could get the American opening of the first series with Diana Rigg and Black and White from 65.
Oh, you're
Which,
talking the one with the chessboard?
Yes, with the chessboard, and that's
Yes.
the only way. It's the only way I could get that opening, because that's how it opened when I watched it when they started airing on ABC in March of '66.
Yeah, I love that opening, but actually,
yeah.
I gotta remember to show that to Jill before we finish watching the Emmas, because she
Yeah,
has not seen that yet.
Yeah, the only thing it says that when it refers to Emma, it says talented amateur.
Amateur, yeah.
And I'm
that
kind of
always
like,
always-
well, I
yeah.
kind of want to view it as they're both in the intelligence community, and they're both professionals.
Oh, look at Emma's track record.
Yeah, I know.
How many, dissertations does she write during the episodes? Like, she's a big brain, right?
Yeah, she's a brain.
Do you think they called her a talented amateur just for the American audience?
Just for the American audience. Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, that's what
but
I
she's
figured.
She's they talk about Marlo Thomas and Diane Carroll and Mary Tyler Moore being the liberated female. Well, we had Emma Peel back. Well, at least the British had her back in '65.
Yeah, Emma beat them all.
And before that, they had Kathy Gale, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's like, come on, they're smart, they're tough, and they're crack shots. They drive sporty cars.
Well, Kathy was like 1962, flipping guys on their head. Like,
well, the thing is that Honor Blackman knew judo. I mean, she actually could do that stuff.
Though she trained with the guy on the show, right? The trainer.
Oh yeah.
Just like Emma, like I think, did she take karate or something for the Emma Peel character?
I'm not sure. To me, it doesn't look quite realistic.
I think she did train as well, though. With what was his name? Oh, I'm trying to remember.
The guy the fight choreographer.
The effects, the choreographer guy. But I think she did take some lessons with him, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't remember
because Emma
that
was
detail.
Really good. I mean, she could really flip guys on their head. Like, I was very impressed. That was my first crush. Like, I think I saw her. Well, I guess CBC began showing it in '65. I remember distinctly. It was every Friday at 10 o'clock at night, because I'd go out and play with all my buddies and run around on my bike and do all kinds of crazy shit. And then it was like, okay, it's like 9:30. I got to head home now, guys. I got to go watch the Avengers. Yeah. And I never missed an episode, because I was like, well, I would have been like, what? Jeez. 7 years old when I first saw Emma, and I was years away from hitting puberty, but I knew that when I watched Emma Peel talking to Steed and giving him a little hug or whatever and flipping bad guys on the head, I was like, that's my kind of woman. Like, I was just totally infatuated.
Yeah, I was the same age when I crushed on Diana Rigg.
Oh, she was gorgeous. I mean,
it was funny because when they were selling the show and they were talking to Patrick McNee, what they were kind of like, what's ABC executives, what is this show about? And he goes, well, I wear a bowler hat, and Diana as Emma throws men over her shoulder.
I'm amazed the Americans that ABC actually bought it for the States with that.
Well, ABC was always they
were the underdog, right?
They were the underdog, and so they took a little more. They took chances a little more often, I would say, than the other two. They were the
third place network, weren't they, back around that time?
Until all the crazy Aaron Spelling and Gary Marshall shows from the '70s. That's the only time that when they got to be number one.
Well, I guess when they got Happy Days and Shirley and all that stuff.
Charlie's Angels.
They rocketed up to first place, I would think. Then,
And the $6 Million Man and the $6 Million Woman.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You got to love an underdog because you never know when they're going to figure things out and start to get it right. Because my favorite of ABC back in the '60s when they put the Invaders on, like, because that's a big show I really love. For
Yeah,
it only
that
two
was a mid
seasons,
yeah, that was a mid-season replacement that started in
January, yeah.
67. And do you remember the ad? I don't know if you had it up in Canada, but the ad that they ran was it was a star field, and it was these pair of human hands that were in red that were
Mhm.
just kind of like and they played some creepy music, and these hands were covering the stars and the star field.
Okay,
And
I've
it's
not
the
seen that.
Invaders, coming soon on ABC. And I'm like, what the hell is
There are
this?
there are two or three ABC ads on YouTube here that I have watched, but nothing like that. I don't think.
Yeah, that's the one
Thing
I
is, though,
remember that intrigued me when I was a wee lad.
we had one channel, the CBC, when I was a kid in the '60s, like one channel, and
Yeah.
they my local channel only played the hit shows. I didn't see Star Trek till 1969 in syndication. I didn't see you know how I saw the Invaders for the first time? I used to, do tape trades with, VHS, Betamax. I'd trade with buddies I met on well, it wasn't even online. It was like there were little magazines where people would put their address in with the kind of, the movies and the TV shows they had, and you'd write to them, and it was all like by letters back and forth, right? So we'd send, boxes of tapes back and forth, and I had this really cool guy in Washington State in Seattle that started taping the Avengers for me, right?
Cool.
They were horribly chopped, right? Because they
Yeah.
were on Saturday afternoons. They were like about 41 minutes. The copies I saw back in the early '80s, but I didn't
Yeah.
really care because I thought the show was so awesomely cool. I didn't care. I knew it was chopped all to heck, but it
When
was
I
still cool. And I
yeah,
was like, wow, I really gotta see this show someday, and the complete episodes, right?
before CBS started repeating the Avengers in their late night movie, before that, uh, my local ABC affiliate showed the Avengers just on 16 millimeter prints, but
Ah,
they showed the Avengers at midnight. And the thing is, I was still in school, and this is like 1972, 73, and I was in junior high, and I wasn't supposed to be staying up that late on a school night, but I would sneak down uh, and turn on the TV, big huge console that my dad had. But I would turn it on and I'd make sure the volume was low, and I'd watch the Avengers from midnight until 1 in the morning.
yeah, well, when you find something really great, it's hard not to, right? You
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I go back, but to the early to mid '80s, I was big a tape trader, right?
Uh
Because
huh.
I probably had about a dozen guys I was in contact with on a regular basis every week, and they'd even put their phone numbers sometimes in the parcel, so I'd actually call them up. I remember
Really?
there was one cool dude, some old dude called Bob Jones back in Seattle back in the '80s, and Bob and I sometimes I'd call him up. We get on the phone and we chat for like half an hour because he was such an awesome guy, right? And we talk about all the cool shows we loved, and I'd say, "Hey, do you have this show?" And he'd go, "Yo, yeah, I can make a copy of that for you." He'd say, "Do you have this movie?" And I'd say, "Yeah, I got that movie. I can make a dub of that for you." And you know,
So
it was a
uh,
great, it was like a proto community before
right
YouTube, you know.
when you were trading tapes, you still were stuck with one channel in Canada at that time.
I think by then, no, by the '80s we had okay, '60s CBC one channel, early '70s we finally got cable about 1972 or three. we got the second Canadian channel, the CTV network. That's where I started to see stuff like the Waltons and stuff like that. Then I think sometime not too many years after that, we probably got the American channels. You know, we got ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS. By 1980, we had all of those channels.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was getting a lot bigger range of stuff I could actually record off of. So that's when things took off. But I remember things like I was in communication with the guy in Saskatchewan, and he had a copy of the Twilight Zone episode with George Takei that was banned. You know,
Right.
the one with the samurai sword and all that
Right.
crazy shit. He actually had a copy of that. He somehow had recorded. I don't know if it was back in the 60s. The quality was not great, but it was watchable, right?
Right.
So I saw this back in the early 80s with, you know, basically Sulu going samurai insane on some
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
And
that's one of those banned episodes.
oh,
They showed it once and was like, never
never
again.
again. Yeah, exactly. And I got the privilege of seeing that like in the early 80s because I said, oh, buddy, you got to send me that one. And he did. And the quality was, you know, it was fuzzy, but it was watchable.
Yeah.
So I feel
No,
so blessed that I got to, you know, get
that
to
was
know some of
cool.
these people.
Yeah,
Yeah, we sent each other all kinds of cool stuff.
I
Yeah.
never had I wasn't fortunate enough to be in a situation like that, but the first time I saw Thriller with Boris Karloff, uh,
Hmm.
I never saw it when I was a wee lad because it was on one, it was on a weekend, and two, it was on late, so it's too, you know, and it was kind of before my time anyway. But the first time I got to see some of the Thriller episodes was someone that, like you said, advertised in like a video magazine, and out in California, and it was basically on VHS tape. So
Yeah,
I was
I
able
think,
to see some of the classic episodes.
yeah, I think it was amazing. Like back in the early to mid 80s, there was a community, like there were a few, I don't even know where I found, how would I even find out? Because there was no internet, but somehow
Right.
I discovered these magazines. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I wish I could remember now, but there was, you know, lots of folks on there trading, and most of them were really good. I think I had like maybe a dozen regular folks I would trade tapes with. And you'd get occasionally, you know, some jackass that would rip you off, and then you just put them on your do not trade list or whatever, right?
Right.
Because they send you garbage. But most of them, people I met, were really, you know, nice, decent folks, and we just had a love for, you know, vintage television and movies that we couldn't find. Because
Yeah,
back then, if you missed it on the TV, you didn't see it again, right?
you
You know,
got it.
yeah.
Yeah, if
So
you
like,
it's good that you got to be friends with I mean, serious collectors that really liked vintage TV as much
oh
as you
yeah,
did, and that would be. I wish I had stumbled into that in my early VHS days.
yeah.
Uh,
I honestly can't even remember how I got into that. I mean,
well,
I
I
wish I
used to
could,
get
but I
I used
just,
to get
yeah.
there were two video magazines. One simply called Video that I used to get, and another one Video Review, and it's one of those two that there was ads in the
Yeah,
back, and that's how I got a hold of the Thriller episodes.
it
Because
might have been video
I
review.
always wanted to see that show, and especially the um, the episode "The Grim Reaper" with William Shatner,
Yeah,
and
I still haven't seen a lot of those, I must admit.
yeah,
I need
that
to
one
check that out
that
still.
one Shatner kind of hams it up, but he hams it up because he's supposed to be hamming it up. He uh he does a really good job. That's an interesting episode. It's a little mixture of things, but it's a lot of fun. Uh,
I always love early Shatner anyway, because,
what
you know,
was that, Gorilla?
Hey, I'm gonna be heading to bed here.
Okay.
okay, have a good night there, buddy.
Yeah.
Get some
Good night,
sleep, man.
Gorilla.
Good night, Gorilla.
I'm exhausted.
Get some sleep,
Yeah,
man.
rest up, and so you can have a great tomorrow.
Thanks for stopping by, Gorilla.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah. Good night, buddy.
Good night.
No,
Oh boy.
I think he's too tired to plug his channel.
yeah, poor guy. I
Well,
like it. I like that avatar. I mean, does he make those himself, or how's he?
AI.
he's using
AI. Oh,
AI lately.
I'm too afraid to deal with AI. So
Yeah, he's been
I'll
using
just.
AI lately for his stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, that's a pretty impressive avatar, I must say.
Well, actually,
Especially the bowler hat. I really like that.
I think it's a good one. Yeah. Gorilla's
Yeah.
been experimenting with AI on some of his live streams lately, so some
Yeah.
of those are pretty good. If you want to check them out, they're pretty funny. Some of them.
Now,
So yeah.
Pop, your avatar, that's something that you actually drew yourself, right?
Oh no, I wish I had that kind of talent. No, I had there's a artist on YouTube here, Yipsy Lemons, and I
Uh-huh.
had him do it for me.
Oh, cool.
He's the same guy that did like Bird of Prey 5, and
Oh,
you
okay.
recognize the style. A lot of people
Yeah.
have
Okay.
avatars made by him.
Yeah. But you're there with your doggies and
With my people.
your it looks like there's a tribble up there, is that right?
Yeah, Triple or two. I think maybe
And of
even
course your Starfleet uniform.
I think maybe even a what were those movies where it was like those low budget horror movies? It was like a Tribble, but they were mean. They had teeth.
Oh, critters, yeah, critters.
I
I
think there's
think.
one of those in there.
Yeah, there's
somewhere.
one underneath the pop. There's looks like one. Has little beady
Yeah.
red eyes.
Yep. I sent him a couple of pictures, and
Uh-huh.
this is what he produced, and I love it.
Yeah, I've always liked your avatar. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
And of course
thanks.
PvP, he's a rock and roller.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you know, I figure it's the best way to promote my channel since
Right,
I
exactly.
don't really do much promotion. Like I must admit, I'm pretty lazy. So you know.
Well, you do what you can when you can, so
Yeah. I still need to do live streams, but I'm just afraid, I'm going to screw something up badly and make a mistake and just be really effed up and I won't be able to figure out, it'll do some horrible error thing. So, yeah.
Well, if you ever want to do a live stream thing, I would have like LDG or someone that knows the
Yeah.
stuff and just be there with you for your initial stream, to kind of be a lifeguard for you.
Yeah,
Or
I thought
something.
LGG, yeah, that's
Yeah.
an obvious choice, yeah. And I imagine maybe Gorilla's
Or
pretty
Gorilla, yeah.
good. I think he would help me up as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definite options. I'm one of these people I'm so bad getting sidetracked and going down rabbit holes. It's embarrassing, but I just tend to do that all the time. And, it's like, oh, shit, I'm terrible at that. I really am.
Hey, I was talking about that Australian Blu-ray label imprint,
Right.
and the company behind that is called Via Vision. I guess you can order direct from them, but I always go through third-party sellers like Deep Discount or Orbit DVD, that kind of thing. But another series that they're coming out with, I think it's in August, another British series. They're doing a limited box set of that, and that's The Persuaders with Roger Moore and
Oh, I know the guy you're talking about. Oh, jeez.
I'm
yeah.
blank.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore and
Tony Curtis.
Tony Curtis. Yeah, Tony Curtis. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of his name. What the heck is going on with my brain?
That's a great show.
Yeah, that was a hit everywhere but in the States, and that's why they canceled it after 1 year. It was a shame.
Yeah, I remember when we got CTV, they used to show that every Saturday morning, I think around 10 a.m. every
Yeah.
episode. And I would, of course, I'd, being a kid on Saturdays, I'd get up early and I always watched The Persuaders. And it was such a good show. And I think that theme was, who wrote that theme? It's
John
like
Barry.
John Barry. He wrote
It's,
like some of the Bond stuff, didn't he?
oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. That's a cool theme. It's one of my favorite
oh, it's
themes.
like,
I have it on CD.
it's an
Uh,
awesome theme.
it's great. It's a longer version
Yeah,
of it,
I love it.
but it's the full theme. But it's a really cool. Sometimes the show got a little goofy, but they had some pretty decent episodes, and
Yeah.
the two actors played off of one another really
Oh,
well.
well, you had such great talent. I mean, as the co-stars, right? So you
Yeah,
really couldn't go wrong.
I didn't
You
get to
know.
see that too often when it was originally on because it was on Fridays or Saturdays. I can't remember. It was on the weekend, but my dad watched one of the best episodes. And that may have been the reason he watched it because it may have gotten a close up thing in the TV guide. But it's the episode where Roger Moore, gosh, I can't think of his character's name. It's Sinclair. I think something Sinclair, but he's brainwashed and he's kind of like a programmed killer. And his victim is played by Bernard Lee, who of course played M in the classic Bond movies.
Nice.
And that was a really cool episode where he doesn't know what's going on, and it's you think it's a doppelganger, but that was a good episode. And then the other one I watched was where Tony and Roger are. Their characters are out camping, and Tony goes to take care of something away from the campsite, and this guy that's got this suitcase, and he's kind of on his last dying breath. He handcuffs it to Tony Curtis's wrist, so he's got this top secret suitcase handcuffed, and he's like, "What the heck?" And there's two different groups going after trying to retrieve the top secret papers, and they do a switcheroo where one of the gang that's after the top secret suitcase, they open it up after they get it, and it's all the James Bond paperbacks. And it's kind of a dramedy kind of episode where it's kind of serious, but it's kind of comical at the same time. And
yeah, that does sound a little.
That was another one I got to watch, and that was a lot of fun. There's one that they confront Roger and Tony. They confront one guy, and Tony throws the suitcase to Roger. Roger catches it, or it's the other way around. I can't remember. And then they use that as a weapon to knock the guy out.
Yeah, you gotta love TV back then. It's like,
yeah,
as it was awesome stuff, but they didn't always take it themselves too seriously, which kind of actually made it even better at times.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes
they went a little too far, like with Batman, but other times it was a lot of fun.
How many times does the Batman? I was never even aware of the Batman effect as a thing a few years ago, and then since I joined the community, I kept hearing the Batman effect.
Yeah,
the Batman effect, and then I finally convinced Jill to watch the Avengers, and she said okay. It took me 3 months to convince her. Stone Racket. It was like banging my face against the wall. I thought she'd never, because it's not sci-fi, right? And I said, "Hey, Joe, there's an episode with killer robots."
Yeah, the Cybernauts.
Yeah, and that was the first one I put on the first episode. I got.
Yeah, I mean they have sci-fi elements.
Yeah, well,
in some of the episodes.
You know what it was? It was my birthday stream.
Oh.
And every year, Jill goes, "It's your birthday, PvP. You pick anything you want to watch."
Okay, there you go.
I was like rubbing my hands together, going, Yes, yes, Avengers. So
So
I picked the Cybernauts, first one for Jill to watch, and then goofy me, I did pick the Batman one with the guy climbing up the wall. But I picked it because I thought that that episode made fun of Batman because the ending was all the signs going pow bam,
right,
you know, and it was like a total parody of Batman. And Jill,
right.
you know, because I thought, well, it's like more of a fantasy. So I'll give Jill some hardcore sci-fi. I'll give Jill a more fantasy one, and she, you know, the rest is history because she obviously really dug both episodes, and you know, then I got her to watch the show with me, so it was great.
That's cool. Daniel's Hot Topics
Oh,
says
Daniel, hi Daniel.
says Pop. Did you hear that NASA found what they call Dyson spheres out in space?
I heard you saying something about it on the stream the other day, Daniel. I need to check into it. I wish you would have came on the panel. We could have talked about it.
Are there any other chats?
Oh, this is it. Daniel's found 7 black spots in space, and NASA's calling them Dyson spheres. And the Christian community are saying they are the 7. Oh, God.
7 angels of the
I'm not
apocalypse.
surprised. I'm not surprised, Daniel.
Well, wait a minute. I'm familiar with the 7 seals and the 7 what do they call this? 7 flames. But I haven't heard the 7 angels. I've heard the horsemen of the apocalypse, but I haven't heard the 7
Right.
angels.
Right. Don't be surprised. NASA
Yeah.
and the Christian community never agree.
Yeah.
And
Well,
look
what?
who we have.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, what's up?
Yeah, could you could you tell me again what is a Dyson sphere? That sounds familiar, but I can't recall.
It's like something like a structure that they build around a star to harness its power.
And what is that where'd that originate?
Some scientist called Freeman Dyson in the 1960s.
Oh, okay, Freeman Dyson. Okay, I was thinking it was
theoretical.
something that was like an Arthur C. Clarke novel or something.
No, it's theoretical. It's
Uh-huh.
not yet been proven, but they believe that it's a way of a species to harness power off like a small star or something.
Oh,
Is
I
to build
see.
a
Okay.
structure around it.
Oh,
But
okay, I see.
the Christian community and NASA never agree on anything.
Well,
Oh, I understand.
naturally, they're diametrically opposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big problem with whatever information comes out from any source is people always take their position, that what they believe in, and the other side gets the position that they believe in, and you know, the third side will go what they believe in, and it's like, what do you actually believe after a while? Because everybody has a different
Yeah.
opinion. You know, that's what I see, guys.
Well, it's
I don't
just it's what your you know preconceived basically how you're kind of how you're hardwired and how you've come to learn different things. You have preconceptions,
It's like a different worldview
and
kind of thing.
it's basically in your framework is gonna that's how that's the lens that you interpret.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everyone, even those that say they don't, but everyone has an agenda. And so one side, one community, whatever you want to say, one group, they're all gonna have that axe to grind, or
Yes.
or whatever idea to propagate. And so it's like, it's just the way it is. And the thing is, what's infuriating, especially from a Christian perspective, is when the so-called scientific community does not admit that they have an agenda or they have preconceived notions and that kind of it's like they're,
Like, I was
go ahead.
sorry about that, but I was watching another video just yesterday, and they were talking about those black spots they found in space, and then there was this guy who was like, oh, they found 7. There's 7 black spots in space, and they were like, oh my God, crack open your Bibles and go to Revelations. Oh my God, this is it, and I'm just like, we don't know what it is. Why? What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with 7 angels of the apocalypse. I'm familiar with the 7 seals, which is the biggest escrow procedure that's going to happen in the universe when Christ reclaims the earth. That's what all that's about. If you want to call it an escrow, procedure, but and then there's 7 judgments, 7 seals, 7 bowls, that kind of thing. Is a repeated imagery of 7, but I don't recall 7 angels of the apocalypse. I just know of the horsemen of the apocalypse, but yeah, anyone that I mean, there's extremists in every group that ruins it for everybody, but there are those that anyone that claims to know something that, especially from a biblical perspective, they say, oh, that's what this is and it's going to happen. No, they're a liar.
I just got to say, I'm not an overly religious person, even though I respect people's religious beliefs. I guess I'm basically an agnostic because I think to be an atheist is probably, uninformed, I will say, because I think the universe is a very mysterious entity and I don't want to take prejudgments on anything. I try to keep an open mind to all sides, whatever they have to say. But I just have to say, guys, that at my age, I don't know how many times I've heard it's the end of the world, the apocalypse is here, we're all gonna, it's the second coming, whatever, on and on and on. I must have heard this at least 10 or 12 times by now in my lifespan. And guess what? It never actually happens. Like, so I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
a tiny bit cynical.
well, the thing is, it's don't judge Christianity on what humans have done. Judge it on Christ and His words. But Christ Himself said, "No man knows the day or the hour." I mean, that's directly from Christ Himself. So any guy that says, or anyone, excuse me, that says that the end of the world, 88 reasons for 1988. Remember that crap, and it's
I've
like,
lost track. I've lost track.
and it's like they're blasphemers. They're blasphemers because they are defying even the direct words of Christ. It's like no one knows the day or the hour. I mean, Christ says there's going to be signs. He calls them birth pangs. There'll be things that kind of alert us to certain things, but the exact day and hour, no one can tell. No one knows, and so I have no patience for the ones that are saying that this is when it's going to happen. It's there are signs. I mean, you look at biblical prophecy and you look at what's going on in the world, and you're kind of going, yeah. That's why I say these different things going on in the world with these the World Economic Forum and the basically the one world government people. I call it paving the way for Antichrist. But the thing is, no one knows the day or the hour, and that's directly from Jesus. And so, take that to heart. So when you hear people, oh, the end of the world, or this is going to happen, nope, you don't know that.
Anytime I hear any human being stand up on a pedestal and go, I know it. I know the truth. I know the absolute truth. I've spoken directly to God, and God has told me this, and they make a list or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's what you believe, but I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but I'm not
I
going to believe it.
yeah, none of the churches that I've been affiliated with have anybody like that. They just simply point to the scriptures and teach directly from the scriptures. And one thing, this Bible teaching church, which unfortunately is no more, that I was affiliated with, when the pastor and the elders said, "Well, this passage is controversial. We just don't know." I mean, they'll flat out admit when they aren't sure how to interpret something. They can kind of give you some background, but they will be honest
Right.
if they don't, and I'm going, that's all you can ask for. It's like you aren't we never had anyone getting up there on a pedestal and saying, this is the exact interpretation, or this is this, and so saith I. It's like, no, they point to this Bible and they say, so saith the Lord.
Honesty is a good thing, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, they're upfront and honest,
Yeah.
and that's what especially the original elders of the church. They were. But I mean, we did have a pastor that got kind of legalistic,
Oh.
and it was basically, browbeating us with
not
the
good.
message. Yeah, it got to be that way, and eventually that pastor was let go. But the elders, they looked out for the church, and then if something like that was creeping in, where you have this legalism where the pastor thinks, okay, these are my rules for running your life, that kind of thing. I mean, my best friend was running the Christian day school, and this pastor had his children there going to the day school, and then he took his children out because he gave a list. I think it was like 20 items on the list that he wanted Nathan to change in the school. And
Jeez.
and one of them was, all the students shall call you Mr. and his last name, which I'm going to withhold. But his first name is Nathan, and that was, and Nathan didn't mind if the children called him by his first name or called him by his last name, Mr. So-and-so. It didn't matter to him, but it sure mattered to the pastor. It was almost like he wanted the school run as a military academy. And
No.
and the thing is, unfortunately, the in that particular with that particular pastor, it was obvious the wife wore the pants in the family, because it was basically coming from his wife. These demands, and Nathan just thought, he said, well, there was a couple of them that he said, oh, those are good suggestions, and they did change, but there's no way he was going to do all 20, and they took their kids out of the school, and then it became a battle for, the pastor wanted to use the church's funds for something different other than the day school, for one thing. And it was like, well, what do you want to do with the money if we don't have the day school? And he could never answer, so it's like, it was just really strange. And that was something that splintered the church. And it's terrible when that happens. But yeah, if we ever, we had a couple of pastors that kind of went off the beaten path, but the elders kind of said, okay, we're done. And they hired somebody else. But that's one thing that they ran the church exactly like the scriptures. They had, they had deacons and they had teachers, but the elders were its own thing, and they separated that from the pastor or the teachers. And this one particular pastor I've been talking about, he so wanted to be an elder, but the elders like, no, we keep that separate, like it's in scripture, but he wanted to be, and he would butt in on the elder meetings. I mean, it was just, he would intrude. I'm like, this is weird. It's like, what is this guy up to? I mean, I got along with him fine. I mean, I had a lot of good conversations, but nobody spiritually grew in that church when he was there. When you get down to the brass tacks, and it was just a crying shame. But anyway, that's enough of that. Sorry to go off on that.
Oh no, it's fine. You're cool. I'm so tired. I can barely keep my eyes open, guys.
Oh
Did you
dear.
want to wrap it up there then, Pop? Maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you for being
Okay.
here.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Pop.
Yeah, thanks, Pop. And I just want to quickly ask: are you still planning to do Lost in Space on Monday?
I don't know. I'm here at the hospital. I didn't get a chance to bring my little external hard drive that has all my media files and stuff. So maybe not. I think I may
Right.
have to cancel.
We may have
But
to
I should.
postpone.
Yeah, but I'm getting out of here Tuesday, so I should be ready to do this. The Dracula. What is it? The Mummy
Mummy.
Tuesday
The
night.
Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy.
I've never
And
seen
thank
that
you.
one before.
You need to check it out, Daniel. It's good. Try to join us.
Which version of the Mummy? The original?
Yeah.
No,
No, I think
Peter
it's the
Christian,
60s,
Christopher Lee,
isn't it?
1959.
Oh, the 59 one. Okay, the
Yeah,
Hammer
I think
films.
it's a Hammer Mummy,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Hammer Mummy. I thought it was
Hammer
92.
Mummy. Hammer Mummy. Say that real fast. Hammer Mummy.
I know. I should show the original first.
That's
but
okay.
That's all right.
I won't-
We don't care. It's all good.
Yeah, I wanna show
Karloff
them.
is so good in the original. That's why I really like that.
I agree.
Even though it's kind of creepy from a Christian point of view, it's kind of like, wait a minute, what's this? But
Yeah.
I really like Karloff, and then what's the actress's name that's in that with the big eyes? She's pretty cool.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
yeah.
I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, she was a flake in real life, but she's pretty awesome in that movie.
Okay. Thank
Oh,
you,
by the
everybody
way.
in the chat, for being here.
I just want to say this. I think this is interesting. I was talking to Scogli yesterday. You know who Scogli is, right? Scogli
Yeah.
Yoden. He's a really good guy. I asked him, like, because we were interested in certain things, right? Like, I asked him what was the worldwide debt, and he's interested in that too. And he said he asked, I think, what do you call that computer thing that tells you anything? What is it, Alexa? Anyways,
Yeah,
You're gonna
something.
believe Alexa. You're gonna
Yeah, he
believe
found
Alexa
out what the
says?
worldwide.
Okay. That's
Yeah, he
Yeah.
found out what the worldwide debt is. It's $307 trillion.
I'm not surprised.
It doesn't fucking matter though, because governments will keep racking up debts. They've been doing that for like 100 years.
And just pass on to the next generation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the world's not gonna fall. Believe me, the sky ain't gonna fall. You know, it's like
Well, it depends on the money masters that run the world.
they're gonna
the-
keep the
the-
world going.
The,
I guarantee
the
it.
international bankers. It depends on what the heck's going to
Right.
happen
I don't.
because certain currencies could fall.
Oh well, yeah, I'm
Let's-
familiar with what happened to
Mhm.
Germany back in the day. Like, yeah,
So it's
I don't want to have a wheelbarrow to buy my loaf of bread.
right,
Yeah, I get
Right.
that.
Right.
but yeah,
Let's talk about this another night. I gotta go.
radio.
Yeah, I
Well-
think it's time to end the stream. if
Good night,
Pop wants to get
everybody.
some sleep.
Yeah, good night,
Yeah.
Bob.
I can't
Good night,
say-
Bob.
Good night,
We're all
everybody.
still praying for you, Pop.
Yeah, have
Thank
a good night there, Pop. I hope you get really good sleep.
Thank you. Peace.